Hello all my beautiful little unicorns and welcome back to my channel. So we're getting straight into today's ultra personalized pick a card tarot reading in which we're going to uncover everything that you need to hear right now. And what makes my pick a card tarot readings so unique and accurate is that these are like personal readings tailored to you specifically. So for the first part of your psychic reading, you get to pick from these 4 groups, which I will introduce you to in just a moment. And once you've received the first part of your prediction, you get to scroll down into the description box or to the top of the comment section where I have provided timestamps for all 12 signs of the zodiac. That's right, guys. Each sign has its own personal reading. Now, the degree to which you personalize your reading today is completely up to you. You may pick one of these 4 groups or even 2 of these 4 groups if you can't make up your mind. And then you can move on to watch your sun, moon, and rising sign. My channel is simply here to provide you with support as well as healing messages that you need to hear right now. And if this is the first time that you're on my channel, my name is Vanessa and Somuayina, and I am the proud author of various tarot and oracle decks and the founder and CEO of BoLife Switzerland. So if you like the vibe that we've got going on here, make sure that you don't forget to subscribe to my channel to never miss another video. Furthermore, I have just published the first episode of a new series called Lore or More, where we deep dive into uncovering and demystifying little known facts about well-known stories. I'll leave that video linked below in the description box. I promise you, these are so informative and intriguing. So I definitely recommend that you start following this new series. And furthermore, the links to all of the free PDFs that I have on bolife.com can be found below in the description box. So if you're having trouble picking one of these 4 groups, or you would just appreciate a free crystal cleansing guide, make sure that you go and download those free PDFs from my website. Okay, now let's get into these 4 groups, shall we? Group number 1 corresponds to the Crystals the Stone deck, as well as the Rainbow Angel Aura Quartz point. Group number 2 corresponds to the Tarot in Wonderland deck, as well as the Rose Quartz crystal. Group number 3 corresponds to the Oriens Animal Tarot, as well as the Aqua Aura Crystal Point. And group number 4 corresponds to the Tazama African Tarot deck, as well as the Amazonite Crystal. But the timestamps to all 4 of these groups can be found below in the description box, as well as the timestamps to each sign of the zodiac. So I will now provide you with a little moment of privacy so you can meditate on these 4 groups. If you absolutely cannot make up your mind and you're feeling a little lost or your intuition is shaky, use a random number generator or simply close your eyes, point at your screen, and go with whichever group that you're able to generate through these means. So I'll speak to you in a second to get straight into your readings. All right, so by now you've hopefully been able to select one of these 4 groups in order to receive the first part of your tarot reading. I will be starting off with group 1, which corresponds to the Crystals the Stone deck, as well as the Rainbow Angel Aura Quartz point. So if this is the group that you chose, then please continue watching. And to all of my other gorgeous groups, as well as beautiful signs of the zodiac, I will catch you at the click of your timestamp. Hello, group number 1, and welcome to your reading. You chose the Crystals the Stone deck, as well as the Rainbow Angel Aura Quartz point. Let's first do a close-up of the crystal of your choice. This is the beautiful Rainbow Angel Aura Quartz point. I did used to have these in stock on BoLife, but you guys just shopped BoLife out of these crystal points, so right now they are not available, but maybe they will come back. However, let's now get into your reading. I believe we've got the amber right here. Yes, this is the amber. Now, the amber is for anyone who needs to recharge their good vibes. It is for old souls, for anyone who is gearing up for a long and potentially dark winter. So it's important for you to kind of give yourself space to just cuddle up, snuggle up, take care of yourself, group number 1. That's something that you have to hear right now. It's okay for you to need time away from the world, or to just spend an evening watching a movie under some warm, cozy blankets with a little hot water bottle and your favorite snacks and beverages, and just take time off. No productivity, no work, no answering to anyone, and just you time, group number one. That's something that you urgently need to hear right now. Next up, we've got this beautiful crystal right here from the Crystals Stone deck, which is the Libyan Gold Tektite. This crystal is especially ideal for Cancerians, or for anyone who right now needs to get out of their comfort zone a little bit and needs a little bit more confidence to get out there. So if, for example, someone who you've been seeing has ghosted you, or someone who you hoped would be a potential romantic interest is actually not really showing the emotion that you thought that they would, this stone is here to help you regain your confidence. The same goes for relationships in which the spark has kind of been lost, group number one. This stone encourages you to find your confidence again. And in connectivity to the amber, it's very clear that you can find that confidence in solitude during a time of just focusing on yourself. Next up, we've got this beautiful specimen right here, which is the topaz. Oh, I'm actually wearing a topaz right now, a red topaz. All of my beautiful souls of group one, so we're twinning. So this crystal is for anyone who's burning the midnight oil, anyone who's burning the candle at both ends, burning bridges, or all of the above, okay? This is when you're aiming in the right direction, but you keep misfiring. And remember that passion is totally indispensable, but if you're not careful with it, it might burn you up. And now's the time to call on topaz to transform wild obsessions into laser-like focus and burning desires into actually getting things done. That is what you need to hear right here, right now, group number one. And I want to move further into your reading so we can uncover more messages. I hope you're feeling just as comfortable as I am. I hope you're vibing with the space. So let's see what else that your guides and the universe has to say to you right now when it comes to everything that you must hear. So we've got the Justice card. Find balance, group number one. Can you see the little scale here on the Justice card? In case you didn't know, Justice corresponds to the sign of Libra by default, and its attributes concern diplomacy. So in times where life seems like a struggle or really wild, it's even more important for you to stick to your routines. It's even more important for you to stick to your self-care and to stick to things that make you feel good. Now, what does that mean, group number one? I mean, for example, if you usually work out twice a week, or every morning you try to read or meditate, the more hectic life becomes, the more you should stick to those routines relentlessly, because that gives you stability, it gives you support, it allows you to know what to expect, at least from some areas of your life, which can really help calm anxiety and alleviate any unnecessary feelings of just being overwhelmed and being all over the place. So as mentioned, the wilder life gets, the more you actually need to slow down and do nothing or stick to your routines. Next up, we've got the Three of Cups. One thing that you need to hear right now as well is that it's okay to have fun. And if you've ever had a situation where you went out and you maybe did a little too much, group number one, maybe you drank a few too many drinks, or you had such a good time that it ended up in a situation that you're not super proud of, remind yourself of the fact that we've all been there, we've all gone through situations like that. And it's okay. It's nothing to be ashamed of. Remember, life is all about balance. And if you've never kind of gone overboard, it's hard to really know where your limits are if you never push them, right? If you've never experienced yourself overstepping a boundary, and then taking a little moment to go within and really ask yourself, if overstepping this boundary served you, or if it's actually something you don't want to do in the future. That actually helps you mature. It helps you know yourself when you go through these experiences that you're maybe not proud of in the moment. But remind yourself here that these experiences teach you valuable lessons that you otherwise may have not been able to learn. Next up, we've got the Two of Swords. So I can see that one thing you must hear right now, group number one, is to try to overcome any type of avoidance, any type of blocked emotions that you have been running away from, because they're keeping you from making decisions. So if you're in a relationship or situationship that isn't serving you, or that you just know doesn't feel right because there's not enough reciprocity, maybe you feel like you're the only one putting in effort and work into the connection, it is time for you to face those feelings. It is so beyond time for you, group number one, to face the facts, face the music, try to not make red flags orange. Keep those red flags red and make decisions based on whether there are deal breakers involved. And it doesn't matter whether this is in a platonic relationship with friends or family, or a romantic one with someone who you could picture being with in the long term, maybe building a family with, marrying, but they are just not giving you that feeling back. It is important for you to make those decisions before you waste too much of your time and energy on a situation that you intuitively know isn't quite how it's supposed to be. Next up, we've got the King of Swords. Now, I've got someone here who is an air sign for you, and you need to hear something from the King of Swords. There's some sort of message that lies within this person. I do want to add letters to their name as well, just so we can get a little bit more information. So we've got the letter M, and Spirit also has the letter U. Okay, so I'll just put that right here on the King of Swords. So I do want you to know here that we've got some important information coming, and I want to use the Tea Leaf Fortune deck for this. By the way, none of these decks here are sponsored or anything. I purchased them with my own funds, and these are just decks that I love and that bring me a lot of clarity. So I would recommend these, of course. We've got the Crystal, the Stone deck, we've got the traditional Rider-Waite deck, and a Tea Leaf Fortune deck. And I will be using some of my decks later on in the readings as well. So we've got the 4-leaf clover. I see that this air sign, so this Libra, Aquarius, or Gemini person, is bringing you a message of good fortune, of good luck. And they're not only wishing you good luck, but they're also kind of contributing to it, if you will. So this is a very supportive type of relationship. And I see that what you need to hear is to delve more into this relationship rather than focus on one that isn't really doing much for you, especially on an emotional level. So how this looks like, group number one, is that if you've got two options, one option where the person looks really good on the surface or maybe on a superficial level, and then another option where you actually have someone who is supportive, kind, and nurturing and caring, I see that what you need to hear is that looks will fade, and in order for there to be healthy relationships, you need a lot more than someone who's just attractive, because in the long run, you will be stressed out if you're constantly wondering whether you're loved and cared for in the way that you're loving on someone or caring for somebody. Next up, we've got the Nest. I can see here that you've got a very emotionally secure and loving person in the King of Swords, and you have to hear that this person is either already in your life or going to appear in your life sooner than you expected, group number one, and to look forward to these types of relationships and these types of connections, because these are the ones upon which you can build, that have a future, and in which you can feel comfortable and embrace yourself. Next up, we've got the Knight of Swords. Now I see that there's a progression that's happening here. The Knight of Swords and the King of Swords are most likely the same individual, but they've gone through a lot of growth. And I see that Spirit and your guides, they want to talk about the past of this person who is meant to be an integral part of your life and your future. So their past was kind of in a way all over the place. They used to be indecisive. They didn't used to be as confident and calm as they are now. They didn't used to be such a great friend or potential partner. So they needed time to mature and to grow as well. But now they're at a point where they're ready. Now they're at a point where they know what they want. But it's important for you to know here that people change. So even if this person was in your life a while ago, that doesn't mean that they have not grown or put in the work. Next up, we've got the Bull. I can see here that when it comes to priorities, they really love material things. This person here is really a little bit obsessed, if you will, with just accumulating stuff. Now, that isn't to judge them. That isn't a bad thing. Maybe they just never had material things, or they're just a collector of some sort. So in the Bull, I can definitely see here that it brings them a lot of joy to purchase physical items, and maybe that's their love language to giving physical gifts. Next up, we've got the Harp. I see that, yes, that is indeed confirmed by your guides. That brings them great happiness, material things, gifting material things, just gifts as a love language, period, group number 1. So if you enjoy gifts and surprises that are material, do know here that this is a really favorable connection to be coming into your life. But let's move further into your reading, shall we? So we can figure out more about everything that you must hear right now. So next up, we've got Legends. I do see here within Legends that you have to hear that it's okay to be inspired by those who came before you. You don't have to figure it all out. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. If there's something that's already working, just look to those who have done it before you. And now that, of course, doesn't mean that you should go ahead and copy anything, but you can get inspired by people who came before you, and there are some things that are just not worth reinventing. For example, if you are starting your own business, it doesn't make sense to try to be different in every single aspect, because that will just create so much work and confusion that in the end, your message may get lost in translation. It may get lost in you having so much going on, but rather modeling a business after another model that already works, but then you adding in what makes something a signature business or a signature product that just screams you, or that just screams you put a lot of work, effort, love, and time into it. So that is one thing that I can see here within Legends for you. Next up, we've got opportunity knocks. So something that you have to hear right now is that there is a big unexpected opportunity that's knocking at your door, and your guides want you to go for it. This is an opportunity that you're not supposed to pass up, group number 1, so get prepared for it. It is most likely an opportunity that is really lucky, that reminds you of the fact that you've got the 4-leaf clover here within your reading. Leave a little 4-leaf clover emoji below in the comment section, by the way, group number 1, to represent your group and to let me and others know that you were here. I do also want to add some runes in so we can figure out exactly what this opportunity is about. So let's see what we've got. All right, so this is the rune we've got, which is Dagaz. Dagaz corresponds to the letter D. And this rune is all about a breakthrough, some sort of epiphany, some sort of realization. And I see here that when this opportunity comes, you will instantly know this is for you. This is meant to be. You have to take the opportunity and run with it. Let's see what else we've got. We've got Algies. Algies is the rune of protection. It is the rune of shielding yourself. It corresponds to the symbol of the elk, to the elk as kind of like a spirit animal, if you will. So group 1, I want you to know here that this is an opportunity in which you can secure and protect yourself in the long run, and you know that it's the right thing for you to go for it and to take it. So think a business opportunity that offers you more financial freedom and flexibility, more time to be with loved ones and do the things that you really enjoy. Think of an opportunity that just overall elevates the quality of your life and kind of brings anxiety levels down. I see here within On Fire that something that you need to hear right now is that you're already doing amazingly well, group number one. You've made it to this point in life, right? Not everyone is still here today to celebrate their life, to celebrate the fact that they've got another day to figure things out, to try to do better, and to try to accomplish their dreams. Not everyone is fortunate to have a situation in which they can see family members, in which they can receive a call from a father, a mother, a friend, a partner. A lot of us are in situations where we are maybe without that, or where we wish there was this extra person who would reach out to us, and it's just not feasible right now because maybe that person has gone on to a different dimension, or that person is not in our life for another reason, and you're being called to really celebrate the relationships that you do have, and remind yourself here that no matter how mundane the relationship seems, there are people out here who would kill to have some of these connections that you have. And that's not to say that you can't go through tough times, that's not to say that you don't have your own struggles, but it's to kind of emphasize the level of gratitude that you can experience if you just put yourself in someone's shoes who wishes that they had what you have. Because there are many people out here, group number one, who wish that they had this scenario that you're in. This is their best case scenario. Remind yourself here of the fact that your starting point is someone else's best case scenario. Your starting point is someone else's dream, and this is not to compare or make your struggles any less significant, group number one. This is simply to uplift you. This is simply to remind you of the fact that there is always a level that's higher up than where you are now, and there is also always a level where you wish that you had what you have in this moment, right? There's always a situation, for example, if you've got a flu or you're not feeling well, all of a sudden you wish that you appreciated the times in which you were healthy more. Or for example, if you're going through a tough time financially, you may wish that you appreciated being a child more if you didn't have to worry about it then. Or saving when you were in a situation where it was possible but you didn't think you needed to. So that is one thing that I can see here within best case scenario, that you create these best case scenarios, you navigate through these, and through knowing that and making that connection, you don't have to be the victim of life's ups and downs. You can plan in advance, plan ahead, and also ensure here that you remind yourself, no matter how tough things get, this is just all part of life's journey, and highs wouldn't feel so high if you never experienced any lows. Then highs would just feel like absolutely nothing, right? Next up, we've got the cardinal. So the cardinal brings us the message that the polarities of your spiritual pursuits and your physical pleasures are out of balance, and it's important for you to do whatever is necessary to bring them back to an equilibrium. This is something that you have to hear right now. In case you don't know what an equilibrium is, that is kind of like a center point to bring it back into balance. Next up, we've got the mountain goat. The mountain goat, group number one, brings you the message that there's something out of balance in your life. Do whatever you need to correct it. This is literally the same message, just two different ways of saying it, really. With the cardinal, we have that extra information that it is about the polarities of your spiritual pursuits and physical pleasures that are out of balance, and to do whatever it is that you need to do to bring these back into balance. And the mountain goat tells you basically the same story. So what you need to hear right now is to focus on the alignment of how you feel as a spiritual being versus how you act when it comes to ego, when it comes to physical pleasures. If you know that you're a spiritual being who desires a deep connection with someone before getting physical or intimate, for example, do not lower your standards. Keep them exactly where you need them to be, and make sure you establish a connection before you let anyone into your life or anyone into your body, so to say. The same goes for material objects. If you know that spiritually speaking, you feel as though you're not in a place where you care to purchase things just to impress strangers or other people who you don't even really care about, don't follow trends. Don't try to put yourself in a financially difficult situation just in order to show that, okay, your job is able to afford you a certain car or a certain apartment or lifestyle or home. Remind yourself here of where your priorities lie, group number one. That's something that you need to hear. And it is important for you to do whatever necessary to bring it back to equilibrium. Because one thing that you need to hear is that ignoring spiritual pursuits and physical pleasures that aren't on the same page will potentially lead to you hitting rock bottom at some point in time. So remember here that it is important that you address this now. No more indecisiveness, group number one. But now we'll move into your zodiac signs portion of this reading so you can really get all of the messages that you need to hear right now. So make sure that you scroll down into the description box, click your zodiac sign, and I will catch you during the second, even more personalized part of this Pick a Card tarot reading. Hello, group number two. Welcome to your tarot reading about everything that you need to hear right now. You chose the Tarot in Wonderland deck as well as the Rose Quartz crystal. Now, the Rose Quartz crystal is a crystal of love and friendship. This is a stone of deep relationships and connections that are mutually beneficial. But let's move into your reading to figure out everything that you need to hear right now, group number two. I'm so excited to figure out what messages that your guides and the universe has for you today. So first up, we've got the Justice card. Now, the Justice card, in case you didn't know, is a card of the major arcana within the tarot, and it corresponds to Libra. It is a card of balance and diplomacy, and also kind of holding yourself accountable in some areas of your life. So group two, could it be that your guides in the universe is kind of telling you to watch out for situations in which you may not realize that you hold more power than you really do? Not to call you out, group number two, but I hope you can appreciate my honesty within these pick a card readings. Next up, we've got the Empress. Now, the Empress does show me that something you need to hear right now is that you're beautiful inside and out. The Empress corresponds to planet Venus, and the Empress is all about creativity, love, but also being in a space where you feel attractive and you understand that you are beautiful. After all, Venus is a planet of attraction, aesthetics, as well as balance and harmony. So I do see here within the Empress that the universe is asking you in connectivity to the Justice card to be kind to yourself when it comes to your body physically, and also to be kind to yourself emotionally speaking, especially if you've considered changing something permanently, maybe even undergoing some sort of surgery, but maybe even just something topical such as dyeing your hair or changing something about yourself that you feel would make you fit in a more appropriate manner, not necessarily because you think you need it. So you're definitely being called to understand the value of your unique beauty and to not feel pressured to change that, group two. Next up, we've got the Hanged Man, another major arcana card. Now, the Hanged Man is all about being okay with complacency for a little bit, okay? Just giving things time. Now, complacency doesn't mean that growth isn't happening, group number two. Complacency doesn't mean that there isn't any forward movement. The Hanged Man quite literally hangs comfortably upside down. As you can see, he's even having a snack and some tea, group number two. He's not stressed out about going anywhere or doing anything. So you're definitely being reminded to not make any quick, impulsive decisions when there are certain things that could affect you for the rest of your life, whether that be a procedure that has to do with your looks or a rash decision when it comes to your job and your friendships. So the Hanged Man definitely shows that, group two, you need to hear that it's okay to take your time. It's okay to sometimes even consider things for months or years before you follow through with them, especially if these are selective things, if these aren't business opportunities, for example. Next up, we've got creative wonderment. I can see here that you are being called to follow your passions, group number 2, and whether that is music, whether that is another creative venture such as writing, painting, drawing, I see here that the more you follow your creative wonderment, the more you will be okay with not making decisions in other areas of your life for vanity purposes. And vanity purposes could, of course, also include spending money or a lot of your income on things such as vehicles or places to live that are maybe a little bit above your means or that end up stressing you out. All of that is being ruled and canceled out for you. Put your energy into your creative ventures. Find fulfillment from there rather than from material pursuits. I see here with an opportunity knocks that before you know it, there will be an opportunity to actually turn your creative wonderment and your creative ventures into a full-time opportunity, into a full-time job. But of course, you have to invest the time that's necessary to hone your craft, to perfect it, group number 2, and to show that you're really dedicated, that you're really in it to win it. Next up, we've got facing your fears. So one thing you need to hear right now is that fear has a little more power over you than you've maybe realized. And that's okay. We all go through different phases in which fear has a hold on us and where fear is maybe keeping us from doing the right thing or seeing things from a perspective that is a little bit more chill and gives us more options to decide. And I see here in connectivity to the Empress that there are some future fears here. There are future fears about your romantic life, about whether you will find someone with whom you can be with forever, whether things will really last, whether a family would be possible, whether it's possible to live in a certain area or pay for things such as school tuition, such as a home that you love. So I do see some future fears here that you're being called to face rather than settle into. And by facing, I mean actually following your creative wonderment, following your passions, and understanding that the more streams of revenue you can produce for yourself, the more such future fears may fade to the background. Or the more actively you follow your passions and heal yourself, emotionally speaking, the more you will be ready for a healthy relationship, and the more you'll be able to discern whether you're with the right person or whether you need to spend more time looking before you settle down. Next up, we've got sensuality. Now, group 2, I can see here that one thing you need to hear is that it's okay to express your sensuality. It's okay to explore your body, to touch your own body, to be in a space where you just love what you have to offer physically, emotionally, sensually, and it's okay to be obsessed with yourself. You should try it, group number 2, especially if you don't feel super comfortable in your birthday suit or you don't feel super comfortable in situations where people see a lot of your body, for example, while being intimate with a romantic partner. So I do see here that you're being called to face your fears and remind yourself that the person who you're with is with you because they want to be with you. And if they thought that there was anything unattractive about you, then they wouldn't be in a situation where they could even see the sensual side of you. So embrace it, because one of the most attractive things is truly when someone is confident and comfortable in their own body and skin. Next up, we've got the Page of Wands. Now, the Page of Wands shows me that one thing that you have to hear is that there will be a little bit of a figuring out situation going on when it comes to your passions. So maybe you've got so many things that you love that it's kind of really hard for you to decide what to focus on, group number 2. And that's cool, because sometimes you need to pursue a few different things and see what really sticks before you make up your mind. For me, for example, I've always loved filming and editing. And there were also other things that I loved, such as fashion or makeup or reading. But for example, being on BookTube or being a fashion blogger, that's not sustainable, because I don't love those tasks on a daily basis. But what I do love is connecting with spirit, connecting with source, and working with my tarot and oracle cards. So obviously you have to figure that out. I see in the Page of Wands that what you need to hear is that it's okay in the early stages to be scattered and to not know exactly where you'd like to place your energy and your full focus. And it's important that you take your time making that decision because it will affect you in the long run. Next up, we've got the Magician. Now, the Magician is one of my favorite cards. It is actually ruled by planet Mercury. And in case you didn't know, Mercury isn't just that annoying planet that goes into retrograde that kind of puts everything upside down, but this is actually a planet that concerns your thinking process, that is all about the rational mind as well. And the Magician is a card of communication. It is a card of figuring things out confidently and understanding that just because you've never done it before doesn't mean that you can't harness your personal power and make something amazing out of the opportunities that are before you, out of the opportunities that are knocking and that you're being called to go for. Now, the Ten of Wands shows me here that you will have to decide and discern, group number 2, when it's time to also just let certain ventures go. And it can be hard, especially if you've invested a lot of time into it, or when you kind of identify with something, right? I feel as though from personal experience, I used to identify with certain parts of myself that were maybe rooted in more of materialism, and realizing that that needs to be let go of, that that is just not a part of my journey and my story anymore. It can be hard because the ego obviously is holding on to what it thinks it knows. It's holding on to who it thinks that you should be in this world. But group 2, it's all about focusing on just being yourself, enjoying, rather than being who you think you should be, because you're not doing anyone any favors with that. You're actually doing yourself and the world a disservice, because we're missing out on a creative, beautiful, unique spirit such as yourself when you try to fit in or you try to dim your light. So refrain from doing that as much as possible. We spoke about multiple streams, didn't we, group number 2? And it's being confirmed here by the universe in your reading about everything that you need to hear. Building multiple streams of revenue, that's one thing that I see you're being called to go for, and you can use the creativity within you in order to get there, to be the initiator. I see that in connectivity to the Magician, as the Magician corresponds to the number 1, which is the number of new beginnings and initiation, of course. Next up, know your worth. We spoke about things such as being intimate, being nude, group number 2, and I do see here that you're being called to understand your worth, understand your beauty. Remind yourself of the fact that there's nothing to feel ashamed of. There's nothing that you need to hide. Group number 2, there's a reason why this is showing up within your reading. As we connected to sensuality and facing your fears, know your worth and say no when you need to say no, whether that be with someone who wants to get intimate and physical way before you're comfortable, or whether that be with someone who is belittling you or making you feel like you are not good enough. Know your worth and don't allow for anyone to put you in a situation where you're not respectful of yourself and your own value. I see here within manifesting magic that one thing that you need to hear right now is that there are truly magical things coming your way that you never would have expected would happen. And I can see within manifesting magic that the more you kind of create these little rituals for yourself, such as actually having a gratitude and mindfulness journal that you fill out every single day. I use mine every single day. I'll link it below. You can get it on bowlife.com, or whether it's using tarot or oracle cards, such as the Wild Muse Oracle deck right here. Do know, group number 2, that the more you have your little rituals that manifest things that you desire, the more they will actually become a reality, because you're programming your mind to look for ways and solutions to get to that place you're going. I see here within emotional baggage that one thing that you need to hear is that it's time to drop the baggage. It's time to also realize if you've been carrying more baggage along with you than you really should, group number 2, and remind yourself there are often restrictions as to how heavy your baggage can be when you're going on a flight. So have you been carrying around an excess amount of baggage that is kind of in the overweight category. That's one thing that I see here that your guides want to point out to you and want you to be aware of. Yes, walk away from it. That's what we've got in the Eight of Cups. Walk away from the emotional baggage. Your guides and angels are confirming this right now, that it's time for you to leave that in the past, and it's time for you to simply move on with your life. Yes, there are situations that maybe sucked that you can't go back and change, but that's the whole point, group number 2. You cannot go back in time to change things that maybe hurt you, that made you feel depressed or traumatized. All you've got is this moment as well as your future. And even that isn't promised. So walk away from past experiences that you feel have been holding you back and forgive, not in order to condone what anyone has done, but in order to free yourself. I see here within the Six of Cups that that gift of forgiveness is really something that will soothe you, is really something that will help you in the long run. And that is an area that you need to hear about, where you can learn a little more, group number 2, where you can be a little less stubborn, so to say, not to call you out, but just to be very clear about these messages, that it is okay to walk away, even if you've invested a lot emotionally in a relationship or in holding a grudge, group number 2. Sometimes it is just time to call it, to remind yourself it's not worth your precious time, limited time and energy, and to simply walk away from a situation that doesn't serve you. I do also want to add some runes. So what do we have here when it comes to our crystal runes? So within this rune, we've got Ingus, I believe. So Ingus is a rune of fertility as well as growth, and in connectivity to the Empress, there is definitely this kind of vibe of fertility that's going on. So watch out for that depending on what you wish to do with this information, group number 2. Oh, okay, we've got another rune right here for you. So I believe this is Awaz. Yes, we've got Awaz, which corresponds to the horse. And Awaz is a rune of partnership and transformation, transportation as well. So I do want you to know here that teaming up with someone who has similar goals and aspirations and dreams, that's a great way for you to follow your creative wonderment and your passions and stay motivated. So don't say no to those opportunities when they arise. Now, group 2, this is the first part to your reading that I've received for you, but now don't forget to add on the second part of your prediction by scrolling down into the description box or to the top of the comment section, clicking your pinned timestamp of your zodiac sign, whether that is your sun, moon, or rising sign, and you'll be fast forwarded to the second part of your reading. Feel free to watch as many parts of your birth chart as you desire and make the most out of this video. That's what it's here for, group number 2. So I'll catch you at the click of your timestamp. Hello, group number 3, and welcome to your reading. You chose the Oriens Animal Tarot deck as well as the Aqua Aura Crystal Point. Let's first do a crystal close-up for you. This is the beautiful Aqua Aura Crystal Point. You guys know I stock these on bowlife.com. They're really rare and hard to get your hands on. Last time when I posted a video with the Aqua Aura Quartz, I linked it below in the description box, and you guys sold us out immediately of these beautiful crystal points. So I will leave the link below of this crystal if you felt especially drawn to it and you feel like you need one of these babies in your life. But I cannot guarantee that there will be any left, as these are so sought after. But let's get into your reading to figure out everything that you need to hear right now, group number 3. I'm so excited to figure out what Spirit has for you and what you need to hear at this moment in time. First up, we've got the Hierophant. This is a card of the major arcana, and it corresponds to the zodiac sign of Taurus, which is an earth sign, a very grounded, loyal, and practical sign. The Hierophant is all about creating stability in your life. So one thing that you need to hear right now now is that if you're seeing someone and it's on and off, there are ups and downs, whether that is a committed relationship, a friendship, or a situationship, that's not what you need, group number 3. And I hope that you appreciate very honest tarot readings. And if you're not into that, then this is not the channel for you, as I'm sure you're already catching on to. But here in the Hierophant, you're being called to value your time and your energy, and to bear in mind here that all of that is limited. That's all that you've got in this lifetime. So don't let anyone waste your time. Don't allow anyone to make you feel as though you're replaceable, and keep your values and your standards high. That's one thing that I see in the Hierophant. The King of Swords shows me that regardless of the fears that you may have of how you'll come off, do it anyways. It doesn't make you conceited. It doesn't make you arrogant. It just simply shows that you value yourself. It simply shows that you've got self-respect. And the King of Swords shows me here that one thing that you need to hear is that it is completely okay for you to set boundaries, and it is completely fine for you to also say that stability is something that you desire. And if someone isn't able to provide that for you, well then maybe they're not for you, group number 3. Next up, we've got the Queen of Pentacles. Now in the Queen of Pentacles, I do also see here that you get to boss up a little bit when it comes to your finances. I see here within the Hierophant that you're maybe a little too kind or forgiving with financial situations, especially if you're the one constantly helping people out financially speaking, group number 3. And you need to cut certain people off and cut them loose and set those boundaries. Next up, we've got the 9 of Swords as well as the 2 of Cups. Now, let's start off with the 9 of Swords, which shows me here that there are definitely some fears involved with being this person, group number 3, because people pleasing is not necessarily something that a lot of us realize that we're doing, but I would say to a certain extent, don't we all try to fit in at least a little bit? So do know here within the 9 of Swords, the King of Swords, and the Hierophant that it's completely okay to have fears about cutting people off or creating boundaries that suit you, especially if you've never done it before. But I see here in the 2 of Cups that only like that will you be able to be in a healthy romantic relationship with boundaries that people respect, and with someone who isn't putting you through emotional roller coasters, with someone who does want to provide you with the things that are non-negotiables for you, because they understand that you're not just saying that. They can't get away with giving you a lot less and, you know, receiving all of this love and affection from you. No, they're going to have to roll up their sleeves and put in an equal amount of work as you're putting into the connection. Next up, we've got a disconnect, group number 3. One thing that you have to hear is to kind of unplug. You've been connected maybe on the internet way more than you should. Check your screen time, group number 3. Maybe comment it below in the comment section. Let us know what your screen time has been like this week or today, and whether it's been a lot, you know, whether you want to get that screen time on your phone down to a lot less time, you know, spent staring into it. So it may seem counterintuitive for me to recommend this, as obviously social media and screen time is my work, group number 3, but I want what's best for you, and I definitely see here that you've got this message to maybe take a little break from social media, or at least from the type of media that worries you, the type of media that makes you fall into this rabbit hole of comparison, whether that is scrolling down your timeline on Instagram or the Explore page, or whether that is watching videos that are making you feel as though you're not as far as you really should be at this age or at this point in your life. Maybe it's Facebook posts from people you went to school with and you feel as though you're behind in certain areas of life. Group number 3, refrain from that, disconnect. The root of unhappiness, or let's say a big factor of it, is comparison. That immediately kind of undermines everything that you've done, and you don't need that. What you need to hear is to disconnect from that, and you will be able to manifest magic. You will be able to manifest things that you've desired, goals that you've craved to get to, but you can't do that if you're focusing on comparison, right? You can't do that if your mind is constantly wandering around and seeing things, comparing yourself, and then immediately feeling as though you're not as good, and that loop is just so addictive. I totally get it, group number 3, but there's a reason why you're being called out to stop doing that within your reading and why you need to hear this right now. Next up, we've got prioritize reflection. Prioritize time with yourself. Prioritize reflecting on everything that you have done amazingly well in this lifetime. Group number 3, your situation may not be perfect, but you've done a lot. You've accomplished a lot. Just think of the last 10 years of your life, how far you've come, how much things have changed. Prioritize reflecting on all of the things that have worked out for you, rather than reflecting on how you compare to someone else's situation. I also see here within beauty sleep that the more you're able to disconnect from your devices, the better your sleep is going to be. This makes a lot of sense because obviously if you're someone who likes to be on their phone right before bed, this is really unhelpful, especially if you suffer from insomnia or you have a hard time falling asleep. Group number 3, try to stay away from screens. Try to instead consider reading, even maybe using a Kindle. That's already better than a phone screen because it just doesn't stimulate you as much, and all you can do is really read books on there. There's nothing else you can do. So do prioritize your beauty sleep. Do prioritize reflection, and also figuring out how you can experience healthy dreams through meditating before you go to bed, or just setting an intention for your dreams. If you never remember what you dreamt of, group number 3, that doesn't mean that you're not dreaming. Almost all human beings dream, but you maybe just cannot remember it because you haven't trained yourself to be in a space where you're receptive to it. But you can do that by setting intentions for your dreams before you go to bed, and also keeping a dream journal next to your bed and writing down what you dream of as soon as you get up. Try to not get up and immediately, jump towards your bathroom and brush your teeth and get ready. Try to just give yourself a moment when your eyes open early in the morning and just kind of reflect on whether you can remember anything. And slowly but surely, you will start to exercise and train your mind, train these muscles, so to say, to remember what you dreamt of at night. And that can be so fascinating and telling when it comes to figuring out where you're at mentally. Next up, we've got the panda. Now, the panda shows me here that one thing you need to hear is that you can up your game when it comes to your personal space. Get yourself some nice little knickknacks or pieces of furniture, some nice ornaments that just spark joy and make you feel good about yourself. I definitely see here that your surroundings can benefit from a little bit of sprucing up and you feeling proud of them. Next up, we've got the Wolverine. The Wolverine shows us here that you're a lot tougher than you give yourself credit for. And that's something that you have to hear, group number 3. It's not some sort of a deep message that is super veiled and hidden. It's very clear. The universe just wants you to remember you're a lot stronger than you give yourself credit for, and own that. Own the fact that it took a lot of strength to get to this point in your lifetime, and that moving forward, you will be proud of this and you will continue to use your strength in order to get to everywhere that you desire going. Next up, we've got the 9 of Swords again. Wow, the 9 of Swords has showed up twice for you in 2 different tarot decks. This is the Pastel Journey Tarot deck, which I published. It's currently in reprint. We will have it in stock again in a couple weeks and months. You can find all the information on bowlife.com in case you want to pre-order it, as pre-orders have been open. They have been selling really quickly, so I can't promise that when the shipment comes in that it will be available for regular purchase if you did not pre-order the deck. However, here, coming to the 9 of Swords, one thing that I can see is that there is worry and guilt that you're dealing with. And this is definitely something that can take time to overcome. It can take time for you to process, but also by being a little healthier before you go to bed, you can alleviate some stress. You're not going to bed in a loop of thoughts where you've just compared yourself to everyone on the internet, or you've just been in a space where you feel as though you're really anxious, you don't know what's coming up tomorrow, no, you can go to bed feeling relaxed, feeling like you can lean back and enjoy. And as I can see here within the Six of Cups, like you've done something good for yourself. So that sacred time before you sleep, group number 3, is really something that you need to pay close attention to, that you haven't been honoring in a way that you're getting the most out of it and your life, because sleep is such an important and integral part of your existence. It is really so helpful to make it an experience where you're not dealing with nightmares and you're not feeling stressed out right before bed, and you can wake up feeling elevated and feeling like you're ready for the day. It makes all the difference, group number 3. Next up, we've got the King of Cups. So we've got the King of Water signs, so to say. The King of Cups is someone who has strong Cancerian, Scorpio, or Pisces energy. They are a sensitive type of person. They're also pretty mysterious, and they are emotionally in tune and connected. Let's figure out what letters they've got within their name. So we've got C as well as E, all of my beautiful souls. So C and E is going to go right here. I want to see exactly why this person is showing up and what you need to hear in regards to them. So within this rune, I believe we've got Vunyo, which is the rune of success and peace. Also happiness, joy, like fellowship, camaraderie. So the King of Cups may actually be someone coming into your life who is meant to stick around for a long time and bring you a lot of happiness and joy, which is pretty exciting, group number 3, to say the least. But we are at the end of the first part of your prediction. What I want you to do now is scroll down into the description box and click your zodiac sign to be fast forwarded to part 2, so you can finish off your reading and figure out everything that you need to hear. Also, leave a panda emoji below in the comment section to let me and others know that you were here. Don't forget, you can watch your sun, moon, or rising sign, whichever you prefer. You can watch all 3. You can figure out your entire birth chart with the help of the timestamps. Group 3, make use of this video to figure out everything that you need to hear. That's what it's here for your benefit and your healing, and in order to support you. So I'll catch you at the click of your next timestamp. Hello, group number 4. Welcome to your tarot reading. You chose the Tazama African Tarot in connectivity to the Amazonite crystal to figure out everything that you need to hear right now. So let's do a quick crystal close-up. This is the beautiful Amazonite. I love how it's baby blue, and it is just so stunning. This is a very calming crystal for anyone suffering from anxiety or depression. Know that this crystal is here to soothe and calm your nerves, group number 4. So that may be why you intuitively felt drawn to it. But now let's move into your reading with this stunning tarot deck. This is honestly one of my favorites. It was sent to me, but I have to genuinely say that I probably would have purchased it anyways, because it is just absolutely fabulous. First up, we've got the Justice card. So within Justice, I can see that balance is important. In case you didn't know, Justice corresponds to Libra by default, and Justice is all about finding your personal equilibrium and your personal center. So group number 4, you are definitely being called out to not let stress, anxiety, and worry get to you. It's important that you figure out how to remain grounded and how to remain calm and not allow for physical or external stressors to get to you mentally and to bring you down. I see here within the 8 of Wands that yes, things are moving very quickly. And what you need to hear right now is the more you get your mind in check and the more you kind of figure out how you can stay in a positive, grounded headspace, the more you will actually find that life becomes so fun and easy, and it seems as though you can overcome any obstacle. We've got the 4 of Pentacles as well as the Devil. These cards showed up together because guess what? One thing that you need to hear right now is to hold on to your money. Don't spend it on anything that is unnecessary or that doesn't have long-term value, if that makes any sense, right? You want to make sure that you spend money on quality, not quantity, group number 4. That can, of course, sometimes be really difficult. That's how we've got the devil within your reading, because sometimes it's tempting to just go for the cheap, fashionable option that's cool right now, rather than actually spend money on something that's sustainable, that's ethical, that can last you a long time, because trends are here to, of course, captivate our attention and make us feel like we've got this FOMO situation. If we don't go with the trend now, we're going to miss out. We're not going to have a photo on our timeline with that cool object, that cool outfit, or in that place that's trending right now. We'll miss out. We'll be late. So you are definitely being called to be your most mature self and remind yourself of the fact that you've worked hard for everything that you've got. You've worked hard for your money, so don't spend it frivolously at this point in time, as you may regret it in the long run. Next up, we've got the Wheel of Fortune, but the Wheel of Fortune actually showed up reversed for you, group number 4. Now, the Wheel of Fortune actually connects to Jupiter. It is the card of luck as well as growth, but also fate. I see here in the Wheel of Fortune showing up in reverse that there are certain areas of your fate that are still malleable. Don't feel as though just because you've had a certain childhood or a certain amount of luck in your life when it comes to love or money or even legal issues, do know here that things can still change for the better for you. The Wheel of Fortune showing up reversed definitely shows that this is a situation that can still be changed. This is a situation in your life where it's not set in stone, where you've got more control than you give yourself credit for. And it is essential that you take matters into your own hands in certain instances. I see here within New Beginnings that one thing that you need to hear, group number 4, is that you can then also begin your new life. So closing a chapter in your life means that you can open a new one. And when there are other people involved who are dragging their feet, sometimes you have to be the one closing the chapter so you can begin a new life and not waste more time on a situation that isn't serving anyone. So think of, for example, coming to an agreement legally, quitting a job where you're not getting the promotions and you're not getting the recognition that you know you deserve, leaving a relationship that really you're just dragging along that you know is not going to last or stand the test of time, group number 4. It's okay to be the one ending it. I see here within gratitude that the most important thing for you is to just remain grateful for what you did have, to just remain grateful for all of the times that you did enjoy, for all of the experiences that you were able to have, that you were able to be a part of. And that's okay if things come to an end, because not everything is meant to last forever. So be grateful for all that you have and for all that you had, group 4. Next up, we've got sensuality. So I do see here that your guides want you to express your sensual side more. And also sometimes you have to let go of relationships in which your sensual side just isn't really comfortable in, because there are some people with whom you may get on in a really fabulous sense, but just when it comes to the sensual chemistry, it's simply not there. And that's when it's okay to just be grateful for a friendship, but move on when it comes to all things sensuality and intimacy. I see here within leadership that you've got to set those goals, and sometimes it may seem like really tough. It may almost seem like you're being someone who is a little cold-hearted when you're just moving on or cutting off people or situations to just go on to the next. But group number 4, remind yourself here of the fact that we've all only got a limited amount of time. The only life that you have control over or that you can take responsibility for is your own. You are not responsible for how other people spend their time or their life. You are not responsible for what other people choose to do with the time that they have available in this body, on this planet at this point in time. And it is okay for you to move on more quickly than other people maybe typically would. Because once again, this is your life. You're the one who gets to decide and allocate certain amounts amounts of time to certain areas of your life. Next up, we've got the Three of Wands, group number 4. Now, in the Three of Wands, I can see that there's some foresight here about what you want to do. And in connectivity to the leadership card, I can see that you're being called to set goals, actually physically write them down. That really helps when it comes to accomplishing those goals. And I see here in the Princess of Pentacles to not get overwhelmed if those goals have to do with finances and they happen to be really big goals or goals that seem daunting, maybe goals you've never reached before. It could be a new income level, it could be having your own rental property, it could be owning a vehicle. I mean, whatever it is, group number 4, remind yourself here that just because you haven't done it yet doesn't mean that you can't accomplish it sooner rather than later. If you can think it, if you can dream it, it can be a reality. Next up, we've got the Nine of Pentacles. The Nine of Pentacles is here to provide you with confidence, but to remind you that you need self-discipline, that you need refinement to get to these places. If you're scattered and all over the place and you have no idea what your personal finances are doing, or you're not tending to the projects you have on the go, or you've got like a million subscriptions that are running, you don't even know which ones you're paying for, which ones you're not paying for, you've got a million ways in which your money is leaking into lots of different avenues that aren't really serving you, then it will of course be tough to get to where you want to go. So the Nine of Pentacles is a reminder and is exactly what you need to hear in order to kind of tighten the ropes and the reins, group number 4, and remind yourself here to take things seriously in the earthly realms. That doesn't mean that you can't be spiritual. Not at all. I think a common misconception is that spirituality means that you can't lead a comfortable life, or you have to be okay with having no financial means. And that just simply isn't true, group number 4, because spirituality is all about freedom. And in most societies and most places in this world, in order to feel free and lead a life that has less suffering and stress within it, we need to figure out our finances. That's simply how it is, unless we decide to go off grid and figure things out in a way that does not involve financial stability in a very traditional sense. But that is a reality for such a tiny portion of the population. Next up, we've got unconscious games. I can see that one thing that you have to hear right now is that being very clear on your goals is going to stop you from playing unconscious games, as in kind of allowing fear to get the better of you in situations. So you may have a goal to start a successful business, but because you haven't actually written down what that business should be, or how much you want it to make, or what you want it to provide to this world, your thoughts are racing, they're all over the place, and it can be hard to really get focused. So write things down, group number 4. That's one thing you need to hear. And remind yourself that often the solutions, the absolute best answers to your questions are just hidden in plain sight. They're right there. But if your mind is all over the place and you're kind of stressed out, it can be difficult to access those solutions, right? It can be difficult to figure out exactly what the next steps are. Let's add some runes into your reading as well, group number 4. So this rune is known as Turisaz. This is the rune of change, catharsis. So I definitely see here that in order to access solutions that can implement the change that you desire, remind yourself that it's often just in plain sight. It's often the simplest things that work the best. Next up, I believe this is Isa. Isa is the rune of ice. Okay, it kind of represents the element of ice. It is all about a standstill, bringing things to a halt, and overcoming a challenge through not stressing out, basically, group number 4. So if there's something you're stressing out about right now, currently speaking, which may also be why you chose the Amazonite, right? Because you need something to calm you, to cool your nerves. Do know here that the best thing to do in a situation where you don't even know where to begin, or you're all over the place, or you feel super overwhelmed, is to just do nothing, to just meditate, to just give yourself time to gather yourself, to not allow it to get to you, because otherwise you will just be running around in a place of fight or flight. You will be making decisions that aren't serving you to the best of their abilities. And we want to avoid that at all costs, group number 4. So take a moment to stand still. That's one thing that you have to hear. Take a moment to meditate, to center yourself before you make any hasty decisions. Now, group 4, this is part 1 of your prediction. I hope that you've enjoyed it. Make sure that you leave a little snowflake emoji below in the comment section to let me and others know that you're representing group 4. But now we'll get into part 2 of your reading, which is based on your zodiac sign. You can, of course, watch your sun, moon, or rising sign. You can watch any combination of your birth chart that you desire. After all, I have created readings for all 12 zodiac signs for you to make use of them. So while this pick a card tarot reading contains at least 2 parts, it can contain several more depending on what signs of your chart you would like to tune into to receive messages from that you need to hear right now. So group 4, scroll into the description box or to the top of the comment section, click that timestamp, and I'll catch you during part 2 of your prediction. Hello, all of my beautiful Aries babies, and welcome to the second, even more personalized part of your prediction about everything that you need to hear right now. So let's get into it. First up, we've got the King of Coins as well as the 10 of Wands. Okay, so in the King of Coins, I can see someone here who is retiring, who is done. And if you're in a job right now where you're looking to get a promotion, I want you to know here that this is your opportunity, my beautiful Aries babies. This is a great time for you with your ruler in Mars to use your enthusiastic energy to get into that space that's being freed up. The same goes for meeting someone whom you instantly feel attracted towards, romantically speaking. Their space is freeing up. Something is coming to an end that they were once passionate about. So maybe it's feelings that they had for an ex or someone they were once with, and they're becoming emotionally available again. So I definitely see some spaces clearing around you, my beautiful Aries babies, that you are able to move into. Next up, we have got the 7 of Wands. Now, the 7 of Wands shows me that there does still lie a little bit of a road ahead of you where you will have to figure out how to get to that final destination that you're going to. So whether that be to slide into that job position that you've been craving or wanting, or, you know, that person's heart who you think is very attractive, who you feel might be the one, and know here in the 7 of Wands that taking it slow is the best approach for you. Next up, we've got the Moon. So you will intuitively know when this situation appears, when this door opens for you, and it's important for you to not overthink it, but instead to simply go for it. As an Aries, you are very energetic and pioneering, and one thing that you need to hear right now is to keep that energy, that spicy energy of being ruled by Mars, which is a planet of being assertive, right? And taking the initiative. This is a planet of independence. So don't be afraid to let that part of yourself shine and really put it out there. Next up, we've got the World card as well as Judgment. Wow, so this is a great combination because the World in the major arcana, my beautiful Aries babies, is actually a card of ultimate fulfillment, of happiness. You've got everything that you need. It's all in place. All you got to do is enjoy it. But I do see here within Pluto, well, within the Judgment card, because Judgment is actually ruled by Pluto, in case you didn't know. This is also a major arcana card in the tarot. And Pluto is the planet of shared resources as well as rebirths and transformation, deaths, and so on. And I see that there is an element of forgiveness that needs to be put in place before you can really enjoy the world. So if there is someone who did something to you, whether that was in childhood or not that long ago, and it was wrong, it really hurt your feelings, and maybe even took away some of your confidence, maybe even robbed you of some, good night's sleep, I do want you to know here that forgiving them is the gift that you give to yourself. That is the gift that will allow you the freedom to enjoy and simply access the world, right? Because you're no longer thinking about a situation in which you were wronged or something in the past that you can't go and change. You're simply focusing on the moment and what's great in this very situation. Next up, we've got Archangel Gabriel. So I do see here that you've been given a messenger of creativity as well as hope. And one thing that you need to hear right now is that there is hope for that happy ending that you've always craved, whether that be by yourself, with a partner with whom you want to be with forever, maybe married with children, as we have depicted here in Archangel Gabriel, and being a caretaker, being someone who is providing future generations with love and care. I do want you to know here that it is still in the cards for you, even if life has kind of shook you up and thrown you around in many different instances. Next up, we've got these new beginnings as well as a vacation. So going on a trip, going for some relaxation and adventure is just what you need right now, my beautiful Aries baby. So if you haven't been on vacation in a long time, like if right now you think of the last time you were on vacation and you can't even remember, you're past due, my beautiful Aries babies. Book some sort of trip, either a flight, get in your car, go away, even if it's just for a weekend, and that will begin a new cycle for you. That will begin a new chapter. Sometimes you simply need a little change of scenery, and you don't even need to go far. You can access places not far from where you live, I'm sure, that you've never been to, and simply enjoy the fact that you're in a new environment. It doesn't have to be exotic, fancy, or expensive. You can access new energies readily available to you in a very inexpensive fashion. Let's also add some runes into your reading. So here we've got this rune. Let's identify it for you. So this is Algiz, which actually means elk. And I want you to know here that Algiz is a rune of protection. It's like a shield, so to say. So I do see here that protection is something that you need to hear that is available. Protection is something that Archangel Gabriel brings to you. So if you believe in angels and guides, do know here that right now this is your protective spirit, my beautiful Aries babies. Next up, we've got disconnect as well as 0 F's given. By the way, if you love these cards, these are from my new Wild Muse Oracle deck. I'll leave the link below in the description box. So I do see here that with your new beginnings comes kind of this carefree energy of not caring about how others see you as long as it works for you. And that's where we've got this disconnect. You're disconnecting from people pleasing. You're disconnecting from feeling any sense of responsibility to make other people feel comfortable with your life choices, because after all, they are your life choices. So next up, we've got There Is Always a Way. We've got crystal clear as well as jar of dreams. So I do see here within your jar of dreams that the more you move away from the people pleasing, the more you disconnect, the more you actually find that you can freely explore the things that you've always dreamt of. And also, things become crystal clear, but you have to step away from the negativity as well as from media that isn't doing you any good. And it can be hard to do that because drama can become addictive. I think as human beings, seeing things such as drama on the news or on YouTube, on different outlets, and just being surrounded by that type of energy, the sensationalizing of everything, it can be overwhelming. So try to disconnect and remove yourself from that so you can see clearly what you want to do with your life rather than constantly being distracted. And then do know that there is always a way, my beautiful Aries babies. That is the last and most important message that you are being called to take from this reading. If there's one thing that I want you to remember, then that is the fact there is always a way for you to become the most successful version of yourself. You simply need to become clear on what it is that you desire and go for it, not give any F's about what someone else may think. Do know that as an Aries, you have that assertive, pioneering nature. Use that to your advantage. So all my beautiful Aries babies, leave a flame emoji below in the comment section to let me and others know that you were here, that you received your reading. Thank you for being part of this 2-part prediction. I hope that you enjoyed this format that is exclusive to my channel because I put a lot of energy, time, and effort into creating these, and I really want you guys to take as much from these readings as I can possibly give. So thank you for being here, my beautiful Aries babies. Know that I'm sending you so much love, and I can't wait to connect with you during one of my upcoming predictions. Hello, all of my beautiful Taurus babies, and welcome to the second, even more personalized part of your prediction on everything that you need to hear right now. So let's get into it, shall we, to figure out all of the messages that your guides have for you that are relevant to your situation. So first up, we've got the Two of Wands, we've got the Page of Wands, as well as the Nine of Coins. So one thing that I can instantly see here within the Two of Wands that you're being called to express is your boldness and your personal power, your originality. As a Taurus baby, you are ruled by Venus, and Venus is the planet of affection and attraction. And I can see here that the more you become bold and kind of lean into the fact that you are a very practical, artsy type of sign, the more you can actually create financial freedom for yourself and also have all of the things in the material realm that you desire. That's what the Nine of Coins is all about. It is having everything that you need and not really wanting for anything, but you have to be a little more bold and have a little bit more audacity to go after what it is that you desire. Because as a Taurus, you can be pretty stable and practical, which means that sometimes it takes a little while to get the ball rolling, but once it's in motion with you, it's pretty unstoppable. Next up, we've got the Eight of Coins for you. Now, the Eight of Coins shows me here that one thing that you need to hear is to continue honing your skills and to continue trying to learn new things constantly when it comes to your career. So do know here that within the Nine of Coins, we've got a really great foretelling when it comes to your professional life, but you are also being called to hear and to bear in mind that you can only remain at the top if you, of course, continue to work on your skills and you continue to ensure that you stay ahead of the competition. Now, the Five of Coins shows me that something that you have to hear is that this can sometimes be a lonely road. Not everybody is going to get it. And when you do have people surrounding you that understand how important these decisions are when it comes to your career, when you do have people who support these moves, it's important that you hold on to them and not be sad about the ones who leave or who are simply not in a space, mentally speaking, to support you throughout your dreams and aspirations. As a Taurus, you're definitely someone who dreams big. You may not tell people about it, but you've got big aspirations, and it takes a certain type of energy to be around you and to keep up with that. I see here within the 10-90 ratio that one thing that you need to hear right now is that life truly is 10% of what happens to you, but 90% of how you react to it. And that can help you with the Five of Cups situation where you may feel a little alone. You may feel, in a sense, like there are some situations with relationships that you wish were easier and that you wish wouldn't get you in your feels so much. Because here within On Fire, my beautiful Taurus babies, I can definitely see that passion and emotions are running high, but being ruled by Venus, one thing about the passionate side of you is that you're definitely someone who thrives when it comes to physical attention, but also just emotional attention in general. So try to channel any excess energy that you may have into love, into being with someone who really gets you and understands you, whether that is a romantic partner or someone with whom you're just in a platonic relationship with, as I can see here that the more you surround yourself with people who inspire you, the more you will be able to manifest magic, of course, because their energy affects you. And one thing that's important for you to hear is that picking romantic partners is something you should do so carefully, my beautiful Taurus babies, because a romantic partner does truly affect so many aspects of your life. It does really affect how successful that you can consider yourself, because their energy, their mood, their words are constantly surrounding you, and you want to make sure that you don't make a hasty decision, especially if you're thinking of potentially putting yourself in a situation where you are with that person for a prolonged amount of time. Next up, we've got the Hawaiian owl. Now, in the Hawaiian owl, Well, one message that you need to hear right now is that your ancestral spirit guides are offering you guidance. So pay close attention to signs and omens, synchronicities. So reoccurring number sequences are an important one for you. And also, of course, other symbols. Next up, we've got the boar, which is all about facing your problems head on with confidence and courage. And also to hear and understand that you will be victorious. So don't overthink it, my beautiful Taurus babies. 90% of the battle is really just how confident that you are. I want to move into a little bit of numerology so we can figure out exactly what numbers are of importance. Okay, so we've had the number 1 twice for you, my beautiful Taurus baby. So that is definitely an important number sequence. Pay attention to seeing the number 11 or the number 111. And then what we also had was the number 2 and the number 4 for you. So these are also of significance, and it is of course interesting that we've got 2 and 4, which, 4 divided by 2, it just goes together in a very flowy type of manner. So I'll move a little further into your reading just so we can get some more information for you, my beautiful Taurus babies. So let's see what else we've got that you need to hear. We've got children. Oh, okay. Your children are or will be protected, and if that's something that you desire, move into that space confidently of parenthood or of considering parenthood. We've also got the unicorn, which is all about inviting serendipity. Leave a little unicorn emoji below in the comment section, all my beautiful Taurus babies, to let me and others know that you were here. And furthermore, we've also got legends. So I can see that learning from those who inspire you, learning from those who have accomplished something that you look up to, and a spot that you desire to be in. That is what you need to hear right now. That is where you can derive the best inspiration from in order to create a life that you're proud of. So all of my beautiful Taurus babies, this is the reading that I received for you. I hope that you found it insightful and supportive. Thank you so much for being here and for spending this divine time and space with me. And I'll speak to you during one of my upcoming predictions. Hello, all my beautiful Gemini babies, and welcome to the second, even more intricate part of your prediction about everything that you need to hear right now. So let's get into it, shall we? First up, we've got the Strength card as well as the Hermit. So I can definitely see here for you that some things that you need to hear entail taking time away from the world and simply being in solitude. That's what the Hermit is about, and finding illumination and strength in solitude. Finding that deep inner strength that's not about talking back if someone is rude to you or fighting back physically. It's about none of that. Strength comes from the inside, and true inner strength is when you don't have to prove yourself to anyone, when you can rest assured that you're doing the right thing, and when you can sleep at night knowing that you're leading a life that makes you feel proud and that makes you feel happy and inspired. Next up, we've got the Seagull. Now in the Seagull, I can see that it is time for some deep emotional healing for you. That's a message that you need to hear. Furthermore, we've also got the Rattlesnake. The Rattlesnake brings the message of the experiences that you're presently going through being an initiation into fulfilling your purpose as a healer. So my beautiful Gemini babies, I can see that if you're going through a tough time, and that is part of the reason why you're being called to simply step away and take some time to take some deep belly breaths, do also know that time away is just preparing you for your initiation into the next chapter of fulfilling your life's purpose. Next up, we've got the Ladybug. The Ladybug symbolizes a time of good fortune and abundance. So be willing to receive all good things in your life. That's something that you need to hear, my beautiful Geminis, especially if you're someone who is kind of shy to receive, or you don't really like that type of attention. You're more of a giver, or you're more of the type of person who simply just doesn't want to accept gifts, know here within the ladybug that you needed to hear that it's okay to simply accept a compliment or a gift and say thank you, and that you appreciate it, and to move on. Next up, we've got the Three of Swords, but I don't want you to worry, even though the Three of Swords can look a little daunting and scary. Here in connectivity to the Knight of Pentacles, I can see that if you are seeing an earth sign, a Taurus, Virgo, a Capricorn, they're kind of really young, at least mentally speaking. They don't really know what they want. We've also got the letters E as well as R. Do know here that this relationship is most likely not one that's meant to last forever, my beautiful Gemini babies, and that is okay. But it's important for you to kind of understand that oftentimes relationships come into your life for a reason, even if it's not to be there forever. Sometimes it's to teach you a valuable lesson. And I see here within the moon that you intuitively know what those lessons will be. And the Empress shows me that that doesn't take away from your beauty, from your confidence, from how you feel about yourself. Just because some situation with another person didn't work out, it will not make you question yourself. It will not make you question whether you are attractive or a lovable human being, and that is amazing to see. Next up, we've got the Lovers as well as the Strength card again. Wow, we have a lot of major arcana cards. Now, the Lovers is actually a card that corresponds to Gemini, so that fits beautifully for you. This is your tarot card with your astrological correspondence, and the Lovers is all about duality and working harmoniously, and the true strength lies in walking away from relationships where you realize that there is no duality, there is no harmonious loving. It's more like a giving and a hoping that you'll receive back, or it's like a giving and just expecting or taking little crumbs that are being fed back to you, and that's something that you're walking away from. That's something that you need to hear is not meant to be part of your journey, and that's possibly also why this Knight of Pentacles situation is just here to teach you a lesson, a valuable piece of information of the fact that you don't need to put up with that, and that sometimes a true strength means that you walk away from a situation because you just know you can do better, my beautiful Gemini babies. That's one thing that we've got here. In the 10-90 ratio, one thing that your guides also want to tell you is that life truly is just 10% of what happens to you and 90% of how you respond to it. And it's okay to be honest and real with yourself about past responses maybe not being ideal, or having gone through situations in which it would have served you to respond in a maybe more chill or well thought out manner. I do also see here that an important message for you to receive is that stormy situations where you feel disappointed or where you feel as though you aren't happy with the outcome, those are actually ways in which you can learn for the right relationships. Those are actually ways in which you can learn amazing skills for upcoming connections. So I personally give thanks to all of the past relationships that I've had, because through going through different points of toxicity and different parts that didn't work out, I am now better equipped to move forward, knowing how to be a better person in a relationship, knowing where maybe my toxic traits lie. And that's one thing that I can see as an important message for you here that will bring you success in upcoming connections. And lastly, I see here within Take Action, my beautiful Gemini babies, is that if there's an opportunity that presents itself to you and it feels special, it feels like this is an opportunity that won't come up again, simply take action. Don't overthink it. Don't ask yourself whether it's the right thing to do. Follow your intuition, as we have here within the moon. That's one thing that you need to hear. It's okay to take action intuitively. You don't always need to wait a certain amount of time. Sometimes when things are right, they're just right. And it is up to you to take action when those situations arise, and simply enjoy the fact that you can lead this life intuitively and you don't need to ask anyone for permission. So all of my beautiful Gemini babies, I hope that you enjoyed this reading and that you found it insightful insightful, leave a lion emoji below in the comment section to let me and others know that you were here and that you received your prediction. I hope that it was insightful and that you enjoyed this type of format and being able to put together your own little personal reading. Know that I'm sending you so much love, and I can't wait to speak to you during one of my upcoming predictions. Hello, all my beautiful fellow Cancerians, and welcome to the second, even more intricate part of your reading about everything that you need to hear right now. So let's get into it, shall we? First and foremost, we've got the Nine of Swords as well as the Ace of Coins. These cards just didn't want to let go of each other, my beautiful Cancerians. Let's see what this means. So in the Ace of Coins, I can see here that you may have a fresh new idea when it comes to business, when it comes to your professional life. Maybe you have an idea of how to elevate a business that already exists or start your own. However, the Nine of Swords definitely shows me that there is some fear. But one thing about the swords is that the worry and the anguish, it's mental. And I want you to bear in mind here, my beautiful Cancerians, that it really is in life 10% of what happens to you and 90% is how you react to it. So remind yourself here in the Nine of Swords that most of the anguish, most of the difficulty is just happening in your head. It's not something that has actually manifested into reality yet, so why stress out about it? Next up, one thing that you need to hear right now is that there are some big changes that are coming towards you. Let's figure out what those changes are. I can see that you're starting afresh and becoming nobody. I do see here that you're letting go of who you think you should be and embracing more of who you just want to be, of the version of yourself that feels free, that feels good, that feels like you're whole. Next up, we've got knowing your worth. You no longer want to people please, and one thing that you need to hear is that big changes do come your way when it comes to your romantic life, but also your platonic and professional relationships. When you stand up for yourself and you know your worth and you're not afraid to make it very clear that you are aware of your worth, my beautiful Cancerians. So no matter whether this is letting a boss or a coworker know that you're not going to pick up their slack in such a thankless manner anyway, whether that is someone who you're casually seeing and you actually want a real solid relationship, but they're making sure that everything is always just, let's see where it goes. I definitely see here that you're not okay with that. You're not going to put up with it, and you're making it very clear that this new rewritten version of yourself knows her or his worth, and that's what you're going for. Next up, we've got the World. Now, the World is actually the last card of the major arcana within the tarot, and it is said to be the most favorable card, despite it looking a little spooky here, my fellow Cancerians, as this card is actually a card that represents fulfillment. It represents accomplishment, integration of all aspects of life in a way that serves you and allows you to feel like things in your existence can interact harmoniously. I see here in the Ten of Cups, wow, we've got another really favorable card for you. The Ten of Cups is very favorable when it comes to relationships that are platonic or romantic with people who you really love and care for. So I'm not talking about work. I'm not talking about anyone who's more of an acquaintance. I'm talking about your romantic life being on 10, your personal life being on 10. And this is something that you need to hear, that when you go through big changes, that doesn't mean that there will be a loss. That can actually foster fulfillment. That can actually lead you straight to where you're trying to go. Big changes doesn't always mean things need to fall apart or that you have to start from the bottom. I see here within the Two of Coins that having fun is a big part of your big changes that are coming as well. And you need to hear the fact that being flexible, juggling multiple things at once, sure, it can cause a lot of anxiety. Of course, it can be stressful. But again, it also kind of depends on your viewpoint. If you allow things to be stressful or you're stressing out about the future, which is most likely where like 95% of your stress stems from, you're stressing out about things that aren't happening right now, that are projections of what could happen in the future, or things that are happening but they're not happening right now. So it's like, why stress out now when you'll be able to stress when the event actually occurs, if it even occurs, right? It's like a waste of time. So I do see here in the Two of Coins that you're reevaluating the way you react to things. And I do see here within the Tortoise that one thing that you have to hear is that if you don't focus on the fun in it all, whether you're going up or down, sideways, diagonally in a different direction in life, then you will find yourself just being too fragmented and all over the place. So you have to do whatever it takes to get grounded, my beautiful Cancer babies, whether that is meditation, whether that is reminding yourself that there's nothing you can do about certain situations that are outside of your control. Find a way to get back to source, to the breath, and to a centered you. In the gorilla, I can see that one thing that you need to hear right now is to take time to listen compassionately to those you love, especially your family members. A family member of yours possibly has some really big and important news to share, and it's important that you're available to listen. The chimpanzee shows me that you're using both your intuition and your intellect to solve the problems or to get answers to your questions, and that's the best way for you to go about any challenges. And furthermore, within the camel, my fellow Cancerians, a message that you must receive right now is to trust that you have the resources to get through the challenges before you. You've got the resources when it comes to time, energy. You can find financial resources as well as inspiration about what to do next in different areas of life. If things aren't perfect right now, that doesn't mean that you can't still figure things out and you can't still overcome any challenges before you. Next up, we've got the Nine of Wands. So an important message is to bear in mind here that there are times in which you will be overworked, in which you will be burning the midnight oil, the candle, or the wick at both ends. I'm not sure how all those sayings go, but you get the gist. And you also need to know when it's time to recharge and when to take some steps away. That's where I see here in the Ace of Cups that spending time with a loved one is great free therapy for you, but the Ace of Cups is also a symbol of new love coming into your life. This is also a foreshadowing of you having an opportunity to be with someone, romantically speaking, who you didn't expect to step into your life. So all of my beautiful fellow Cancerians, leave a little crab emoji below in the comment section to let me and others know that you were here and that you received your reading. I hope that you enjoyed this really highly personalized approach to a pick a card tarot reading. Let me know in the comment section, and I can't wait to speak to you during one of my upcoming predictions. Hello, all my beautiful Leo babies, and welcome to the second, even more personalized part of your prediction, where we discuss everything that you need to hear right now. So let's get into your pick a card tarot reading, shall we? First up, we've got the Two of Coins. So I see balance and flexibility being important when it comes to your job, my beautiful Leo babies, and also just having fun with it. Sometimes situations seem a little more daunting and scary than they truly are. And I see here within the Six of Cups that the best way for you to get your mind off of stressors is to go out, have fun, spend time with people who you can celebrate with, maybe have one or two drinks, nothing too crazy, but either way, get your mind off of work as often as you possibly can. I see here within the King of Swords that there is an air sign that is of some importance when it comes to having fun and when it comes to this whole thing about figuring out flexibility. Now let's see what their initials are. We've got I as well as R when it comes to this person. So it is important for you to use this person as inspiration. They will support you. They're the type of person who has been through burnout, through a really difficult situation in the past. So taking advice from them is going to truly help you, my beautiful Leos. Next up, we've got the Wheel of Fortune. Now, do know here within the Wheel of Fortune that once something is set in motion, it is highly unlikely that you will be able to stop it. So it is important for you to make sure that everything that's set in motion is really what you desire. So if you feel as though you are feeling a little depressed, a little blue, don't allow that to go into a place where once the ball starts rolling, it just kind of gets worse and worse. An important message for you to hear is to nip unhealthy patterns and feelings in the bud before they turn into something bigger and into something that will affect you more in the long run. The Knight of Coins shows me here that you will have to potentially spend a little bit of time, energy, and money on self-care in a way that you haven't done in a very long time. Now, you may try to avoid this. You may say to yourself, well, I don't really need this. I kind of don't really want to have to do all that. But do know here within the Knight of Coins that it is important for you to invest in yourself. The Queen of Swords shows me here that taking other people's example when it comes to investing in yourself can actually help you to find inspiration. So when you see other people who are getting massages, who are going for therapy, who are really kind of spending time with themselves, taking care of themselves, and seeing how they glow, how much more calm they seem, how much more they're able to actually accomplish at their job when it comes to their professional life. Use that as inspiration when it comes to your self-care. And of course, do not forget about your worth, my beautiful Leo babies. You are known as the sign of the zodiac who is ruled by the sun, who is generous. Some people may call you dramatic, but we are calling you a leader, a creative, because that's what you really are. And Leos have such big hearts. It's important that you turn that heart towards yourself sometimes as well. Not just always giving everyone else generosity, but making sure you don't forget yourself in your equation of generosity. Be gentle with yourself, my beautiful Leo babies. You deserve it. You deserve to take care of yourself. You deserve gentleness. You deserve to be in a spot where you feel taken care of and you can just rest and simply take some deep belly breaths without worrying about everything else that's going on in the world. You're allowed to just take time away and not constantly be productive as well, you know? Next up, we've got friendship. So an important thing for you to hear is to nurture your relationships at this point in time. There are some people who are missing you a lot, who really want to hear from you, who really want to get together with you, my beautiful Leo babies. And something that you need to hear right now is to call them up, to send them a text, to make sure that you allow them to understand you're still here. Even if you don't reach out every single day, make sure that you let them know that you're still here for them, that you nurture friendships. Because while friendships don't need to be nurtured constantly, it is important that you check in with some of those long lost friends every now and then, just to make sure that that relationship remains intact. Next up, we've got opportunity knocks. So I can see that there is an opportunity that's coming for you, and what you have to hear right now is to take that opportunity, my beautiful Leo babies. Whether that is an opportunity to work abroad, to go abroad for a little bit, whether that is an opportunity in love, it's coming towards you. And what you need to hear is to buckle up when it comes to that confidence and go for it. So all my beautiful Leo babies, this is the second, even more intricate part of your prediction that I've received for you. Leave a little money bag emoji down below in the comment section to manifest knowing your worth, as well as lots of wealth and abundance, of course. So thank you for being here and for spending this divine time and space with me. And I'll speak to you during one of my upcoming predictions. Hello, all my beautiful Virgo babies, and welcome to the second, even more personalized and intricate part of your Pick a Card Tarot reading. So let's get into it, shall we, to figure out exactly what's coming towards all my beautiful Virgo babies when it comes to everything that you need to hear. We've got the Page of Coins, the Ten of Coins, and the Four of Cups. So I do see here in the Page of Coins and the Ten of Coins that despite maybe being at the beginning of your career and not knowing everything perfectly well, you are taking great strides towards huge, ambitious goals. And I can see here that your very analytical and detail-oriented character traits are actually helping you to excel when it comes to your professional life far beyond other people your age and your peers. But I do see here within the Four of Cups that may make you feel a little lonely, a little different, a little left out, especially because there could be some people talking behind your back, gossiping about you, because there is jealousy there. There is this feeling like well, this Virgo baby is a page. They're really young, they're inexperienced. Why are they already doing such huge things when it comes to their career? Why are they already accomplishing more, earning more than me? Why do they have more freedom, more responsibility? So there will be those types of voices, but you just kind of need to tune those out, and what you need to hear is to continue focusing on yourself. As I see here within the Seven of Wands that you still have so much to accomplish. Your life's purpose still lays a really, really long road ahead, if you will. So you've got a lot to figure out. You were put on this planet to fulfill an important purpose, and you can't be listening to noise and people's kind of small-mindedness in some instances, not to be judgmental, but in some instances that's just what it is, and you kind of just need to focus on your own path. I see here with the Nine of Coins that materially speaking, you will have everything that you need and want for nothing. You will find that when it comes to material security, financial safety, what you need to hear is that as long as you follow your path and don't get distracted by other people, you are definitely going to be in a far more superior spot than a lot of other signs. The Death card is nothing to worry about, my beautiful Virgo babies, because guess what? The Death card is actually a card that depicts new beginnings and also fresh opportunities. The Death card means that there is a cycle that needs to come to an end, so you can let some fresh new air and ideas in. So see the Death card as an opportunity for growth and as an opportunity for you to leave behind people-pleasing tendencies, especially if you're moving from, say, an educational system into actually working in, you know, the job world and the real world, so to say. It can be hard to make that change from listening to what people are telling you to do and studying specifically for tests to then thinking a lot more independently and being very solution-oriented in a completely different way. So an important part of this process in your life is gentleness. What you need to hear right now, my beautiful Virgo babies, is to give yourself a very gentle touch and approach no matter what you're doing. Don't be hard on yourself. Know that everything will happen in due time. And know here within Create and Progress that your creativity is your best friend. So drawing, making music, dancing, moving your body, writing, these are all ways in which you can progress professionally. I know it sounds really strange because you may think, well, you have to work on your professional things in order to progress in your career, but actually there are other areas of your life that can affect how you do when it comes to your career profoundly. And I see that your personal life and some of the things that are just hidden in plain sight will do just that. So not just healthy relationships, but also taking time to do some things that you love, to continue on with hobbies, to continue fostering hobbies and kind of figuring out where your hidden talents lie. And I do also see here within emotional baggage that you will be able to drop a lot of unnecessary baggage the more you actually partake in hobbies and pastimes. So if you have given up a lot of your pastimes, my beautiful Virgo babies, and you feel as though you've just been all work or all school, all family, all responsibilities, maybe children, do know here that one thing you have to hear is to take time for yourself. You can't just always put everyone else's needs before your own. And as a Virgo, you are very, very selfless, and you're the type of person who always wants to be useful. You're very service-minded. So sometimes you have to kind of turn that mindset on yourself. I see here within sensuality that also just having fun in the bedroom, if you know what I mean, is a great way for you to zone out of stress and to tune into a portal of just enjoying yourself and maybe even some gratitude. Do know here within the gratitude card that something that you have to hear is to be grateful for everything that you have, regardless of whether it's large or small. Know here that you have a lot to get excited about. And one thing in resilience that I see is that you can rise above tribulations more easily than you think. So all my beautiful Virgo babies, you are stronger than you believe that you are. And there is nothing that will get in your way that you cannot overcome. Challenges and obstacles, of course, they're never easy, but do know here within resilience that you definitely have more strength within you than you give yourself credit for. Give yourself a little pat on the back right now if you can. If you're alone, my beautiful Virgo babies, let the corners of your mouth curl upwards into that gorgeous Virgo baby smile, and just allow for yourself to walk away from this reading feeling like no matter what happens, you've got this, because you truly do. So all of my beautiful Virgo babies, this is a reading that I received for you. I hope that you enjoyed it and that you found it insightful. Leave a little rainbow emoji below in the comment section to let me and others know that you were here and to represent the Virgo family. Thank you for spending this amazing multi-part prediction with me. I hope that it was fun, and I can't wait to catch you during one of my upcoming predictions. Hello, all of my beautiful Libra babies, and welcome to the second, even more intricate part of your prediction. So let's figure out everything that you need to hear right now. We've got the Six of Swords, we've got the Sun, as well as the Moon. So let's start off with the Sun, shall we? This is one of the most favorable cards of the tarot. The Sun shows bliss, it shows happiness. I also want you to know here within the Sun that this is a symbol of enlightenment and vitality. So one thing that you have to hear is that your health is in a great spot, and you intuitively also know what serves you health-wise. So don't feel like you have to follow any crazy health regimens that you've read of or that you feel don't really serve you. You can feel into your body and know exactly what works for you and what doesn't, and you should do so with non-judgment. The Six of Swords shows me that when it comes to your mental space, you have a lot of recovering to do. I can see that you're often really hard on yourself, my beautiful Libra babies. You're ruled by Venus, so you're a very detail-oriented person who loves aesthetics. You like things that look beautiful. They don't have to be conventionally beautiful, but you like to see beauty in things, and you're a very refined and peace-loving type of sign. However, when it comes to seeing yourself as beautiful and being peaceful and kind with yourself, sometimes you definitely struggle. Sometimes you can definitely get in your head and kind of wonder whether you deserve that type of kind treatment, which you do, my beautiful Libra babies, and that is one of the things that you must hear. Next up, we've got the Queen of Cups. Nurture yourself, mother yourself. The Queen of Cups stands for just that. Now, the Queen of Cups shows a very emotional side of you, and if there is mother healing that needs to be done because there is a strained relationship with a mother figure in your life, or for some reason you are not able to access your mother at this point in time, do know here within the Queen of Cups that that doesn't mean that all is lost and that you can never feel mothered or nurtured again. You can give yourself feelings of being nurtured, taking care of yourself and your environment, the space that you live in. All of those things can help you feel very much loved and taken care for, almost in a way like a mother would take care of a child. Next up, we have got the King of Wands. Now, in the King of Wands, we've got the King of Fire, so to say. And the King of Wands shows me here that there is an important person in your life. I want to figure out their initials, shall we? We've got A as well as E. So these are their initials, the letters within their name. And the King of Wands here shows me that this is someone who will give you strength and someone who will tell you to keep going despite any difficult times that you may be experiencing. So I do see here in connectivity to the Six of Swords that you can get out of your head with the help of this friend. Next up, we've got the leadership. So we've had two lions so far within your reading, which is not only a symbol of bravery, but also leadership and strength. I want you to know here within the leadership card that one thing that you need to hear right now is to set goals and to write them down physically. That is an important aspect, not on your phone, not in your notes on your phone. Write down your goals physically in a journal or on a piece of paper, because that will truly help you manifest your goals with a lot more accuracy and a lot more quickly than if you just think it in your head, which is really ineffective actually. Next up, we've got the Archangel Gabriel. Now in the Archangel Gabriel, we've got this messenger of creativity and hope, all my beautiful Libra babies. And the Archangel Gabriel is guiding you right now. So if you're wondering who your spirit guide is or who your angels are, at this moment, Archangel Gabriel is an important one, and you have to hear that the childlike sense of wonderment within you is appreciated, and the little you, so if you look at a photo of yourself when you were a kid, is being taken care of. And there are so many ways in which you were hard on yourself. There's so many ways in which you're maybe still hard on yourself. And just look at a photo of yourself, or envision before your eyes a photo of yourself as a 5-year-old. Would you really be so hard on that 5-year-old if that kid stood right before you? Probably not. So there's no reason for you to be hard on yourself as an adult either. You're the same person. It's just a different age. It's just a different phase in your life. Next up, we've got the illusion. So it is about embracing the truth that you're still the same human. You're still the same creature. Yes, of course, your cells have changed, and in that way you're completely new, but you get what I'm trying to say, all my beautiful Libra babies. Embrace this truth of the fact that just because you're older doesn't mean that you don't deserve gentleness and caring and nurturing. And this is something that you need to hear. And it's okay to sometimes just feel like you want to break down and cry. Do that every now and then. And if there's someone who gets you and who can just listen and let you vent, even better. That's where we've got the King of Wands, the King of Fire, the Leo, Sagittarius, Aries energy that we've got within your reading. The Jar of Dreams shows me here that in order to kind of appreciate and unleash this Jar of Dreams, it is important for you to feel all the feels whenever you can, and to not feel embarrassed about the fact that yeah, sometimes you go through times when things aren't perfect, and it is definitely not an Instagrammable moment, but it's okay because you can embrace all of the in-betweens. I also see here within a disconnect, speaking of Instagram, you are being called to do a little social media detox, or just media detox, because not all media is good media for you. Some media is just filling your head with stress, with anxiety, with comparison, and that's where you must disconnect in order to find yourself in a place where you're not constantly struggling on the inside, because comparison is the quickest way to just be unhappy and unsettled, unsatisfied with yourself. So please try to refrain from allowing that to be a part of your existence at this point in time. So all my beautiful Libra babies, this is a reading that I received for you. I hope that you enjoyed this 2-part prediction. Let me know below in the comment section by leaving a little lion emoji below to let me and others know that you were here. Thank you so much for spending this divine time and space with me, and I'll catch you during one of my upcoming predictions. Hello, all my beautiful Scorpio babies, and welcome to the second, even more intricate part of your highly personalized Pick a Card Tarot reading, where we figure out everything that you need to hear right now. So let's get into it, shall we? First up, we've got the Moon, we've got the King of Pentacles, and the Star. So I do see here immediately within the Moon that something that you must hear is that your intuition is connected, and to listen to it, my beautiful Scorpio babies. And by connected, I mean you are connected to source, you are connected to the divine. There is absolutely no reason why you shouldn't trust your gut feeling. I see here within the Star that if you're looking for a situation in which you can gain more inspiration, just follow that gut feeling. If you've been feeling uninspired, or like you're not 100% sure what to do next, if you've been feeling as though you just need a little push, listen to your intuition, and it will take you to a place of inspiration where all of a sudden it's almost like a little lightning bolt that's going to strike, and you'll know exactly what to do next. In the King of Pentacles, I can see here that what you need to know is that you are in charge of your finances. You are in charge of your professional life. Even though sometimes things can seem unfair or like there are a lot of factors that are outside of your control, know here within the King of Pentacles that actually you're going through a cycle right now where you can take full responsibility for your financial standpoint and also making it more stable, taking charge of all things earthly and material. And I see that one thing that is available is endless serendipity, but the only way that you can access this, my beautiful Scorpio babies, is by staying relentlessly positive. Obviously, a negative mind will never create a positive life, and that's why it is so important for you to believe that you can get there, even if you're not in a spot that you're super comfortable in right now. Remember, there is always a way. There are people who have gone from being homeless to being some of the most well-known, looked up to, wealthy people on the face of this earth. Remind yourself here that it has been done before. It can be done again. And that is not to compare your path or your road or the things that you want to accomplish with someone else's. That's just to give you an idea of what is possible, to remind you of the fact, my beautiful Scorpio babies, that what you need to hear is that anything you can dream, you can achieve. Next up, we've got the journey as well as bossing up. Yes. First, I want to talk about the whole boss up vibe that we have here. So we spoke about taking charge of your finances, setting boundaries as well, okay? Not giving money to people who constantly want to borrow money but never want to give it back. Calling you out on that, my beautiful Scorpio babies. Do not put time, energy, or money out there with people who do not reciprocate. That is a recipe for disaster and disappointment. I see here within the journey that something that you need to hear is that it's also okay to slip up. We all make mistakes. When it comes to business, when it comes to things financially and in the earthly realms, we all do things that we wish we could take back at some point. We all kind of make decisions that we're maybe not so proud of later down the line. And that's okay. It's all part of the learning process. It's all part of the journey. And everyone has gone through this, whether this is someone who works a 9 to 5 or this is someone who owns their own company. We all go through different cycles where we make mistakes and we learn from them. And you're allowed to make mistakes, my beautiful Scorpio babies. Don't deny yourself of that privilege. Next up, we've got the gorilla. Now, in the gorilla, something you need to hear is to take time to listen compassionately to those that you love, especially family members. I see here that someone is really hopeful to speak to you and to tell you what they are going through. So listen, because some secrets and some important, valuable information is being shared with you, and you're not going to want to miss this big news. Trust me. The polar bear shows me here that one thing you need to hear is to stand up for yourself and speak your truth respectfully and compassionately. Don't have any attachment to the outcome. The most important thing for you to do is to just speak your truth. When you're attached to a specific outcome, that's when you give your personal power away to the person who is opposite of you or the person who is receiving what it is that you're saying, and you want to avoid that at all costs. I see here within the Hawaiian owl that your ancestral spirit guides are offering you guidance right now, so pay close attention to the signs and the omens from them. So there are some synchronicities that you are being called to look out for. I do definitely see here within Boss Up, we've got the number 5, and within Endless Serendipity, we've got 15. So the number 5 has showed up for you twice already within this reading, but I want to move further into your prediction so we can see what else it is that you need to hear. So we've got the wishbone. You need to know that a wish is being granted and to continue going, my beautiful Scorpio babies, to not give up, to not make yourself feel as though obstacles or challenges are going to hold you back. The eagle is all about triumph over troubles and obstacles. This is what you need to hear right now. You need a little pep talk, a little pick-me-up, a friend who's letting you know that your efforts are so seen, they're so valid, they're so important, and to not give up, to keep pushing through, even if you're going through a tough time. Spirit, your guides, and myself, we all can see that you need to hear to keep going, because at the end of the day, you will be so thankful that you did, my beautiful Scorpio babies. Next up, we've got the Three of Pentacles. Collaborate with other people where you can, and also listen to other stories. There are some people who came before you who have been through similar situations like you're going through right now, my beautiful Scorpio babies, and they came out on top. Read autobiographies, for example. Take in positive content that uplifts you rather than drains you. As I see here within the King of Pentacles again, you are being called to fall into that leadership boss role that you're meant to comfortably sit in. That's one thing that we've got here in the King of Pentacles. The King of Pentacles has already showed up twice for you, my beautiful Scorpio babies. So you really need to own the fact that you're someone who is enterprising, someone who is steady, someone who can lead a business, someone who is meant to be like the CEO, the manager, the boss, someone who's looked up to, but you have to step into that personal power. Oh, okay. I believe within this rune, let's identify what we've got here. So I believe we've got Sowilo or Sowulo, however you prefer to pronounce it, which is actually representative of the sun. This is actually a rune that speaks of strength, health, energy, and success. And if there is a parting message that you need to hear that your guides have for you, all my beautiful Scorpios, then that's to remind yourself that there are so many immaterial things that you're blessed with. Remind yourself of the fact that money can't buy those things, so focus on your health, on feeling successful from the inside out, and don't give up. A lot of things that we think are huge obstacles or are difficult to overcome are just illusions or just seem really big. But in the grand scheme, you're not going to look back and remember all of these obstacles that are maybe stressing you out right now. So all of my beautiful Scorpio babies, leave a scorpion emoji below to let me and others know that you represent the Scorpio fam. Thank you for being here, and I hope that you enjoyed this two-part prediction, and I'll speak to you during one of my upcoming readings. Hello, all my fiery Sagittarius babies, and welcome to the second, even more detailed part of your prediction, where we talk all things Sagittarius in your tarot card reading about everything that you need to hear and know right now. So let's move into your reading, shall we, my beautiful Sagittarius babies? We've got the High Priestess as well as the Seven of Swords. So one thing that I can immediately see here within the High Priestess is that what you need to hear is to up that confidence, my Sagittarius babies. You have experienced a lot of things in life that other people may never experience. I can see here that you've got so much potential that isn't tapped into yet, and you're also a pretty mysterious person, but I feel like you don't give yourself enough credit, as I do see here within the Seven of Swords that you can sometimes kind of focus on little details that make you feel as though you're not as amazing as you actually truly are, my beautiful Sagittarius babies. So try to focus on your best qualities, on all of your accomplishments, as there are many for you to celebrate. Next up, we've got Judgment. So within Judgment, I can see here that you're at a stage in your life where discipline is important, but also forgiveness. I see that you need to hear that it is okay to forgive someone who has betrayed you, and that is not because you are condoning their actions. That is because you are allowing yourself to move on from any type of hurt that was caused and any type of grudges that you may have been able to hold, but you refuse to. And I see here within the Ace of Swords, my beautiful Sagittarius babies, that what you need to hear is that this mindset is what will get you to the next level. This mindset is exactly what you need in order to create a life that you're proud of, and a life where you're not held back by other people's actions or any type of past trauma that you may have experienced. The Temperance card shows me here that you also need to hear to take things slow. As a fiery Sagittarius baby, you're definitely enthusiastic, temperamental, and spontaneous. You're the type that's mutable, so you're very flexible. Sagittarius is a mutable sign, which means, of course, you're changeable, you're communicative, you're very adaptable, but it also means that you may sometimes forget to take breaks. You may sometimes literally forget to drink, to eat, to sleep. You may just survive off of coffee or energy drinks or air and love. So do know here within the Temperance cards that even you have personal needs, my Sagittarius babies, and it's important that you don't forget about those, because in the long run, you want to make sure that your health is in a place where you feel comfortable in your body. Next up, we've got the Knight of Swords. So there is some sort of important person here within the Knight of Swords, and you need to hear something about them. So we've got some initials for them. We've got R, I, U. Okay, that's an interesting one. So within the Knight of Swords, I can definitely see here that you're going through something with this person, but it's not something challenging. I see here in the Temperance card that you're most likely hyping each other up to do the most, to put in a lot of work. I see here within the Three of Cups that you're actually celebrating with this person. This is an intelligent person who you're possibly working with, and the Three of Cups shows me here that you're having fun with them. Maybe you're going out with them and spending a lot of time partying, so therefore you don't have much time to recuperate and to rest and chill and tend to your personal needs, which makes a lot of sense as to why the Temperance card would have showed up for you. I see here in the Three of Pentacles that rather than just partying, one thing you need to hear is that it is important for you to also focus on work, being effective and productive, of course, and collaborating with other people who want to accomplish the same thing that you want to accomplish. Because when you go out a lot or you're in certain communities and circles, sometimes different accomplishments are not brought up, such as being in a happy, healthy relationship. If you're surrounded by people who only care about partying, then of course that conversation is most likely not going to come up. I see here within the Nine of Cups that actually we've got the Wish card here, which means for my beautiful Sagittarius babies that you get to make a wish and it's most likely going to come true. So just take a little moment now, my beautiful Sagittarius babies. Think of something that you really want to manifest into your life and just hold that thought right there as we're marinating this into the Nine of Cups card, into the Wish card of the tarot. So this is a very positive card for you to receive. It's a very sought after card in the tarot, and it is one that shows that good luck is coming your way. We've got Boss Up next for you. So one thing that you need to hear is that there is a time for work and play, and right now your guides in the universe, they want you to boss up. They want you to face some of the fears that you may have been too afraid to face head on, to look at. And I see here within Stormy that actually the more you kind of try to avoid things that you know you need to deal with, the harder it's going to become, and the more you're going to feel under pressure, the more you're going to feel like you're drowning, when all you need to do is confront those things, whether it's opening mail, making some phone calls that you don't want to make because you just don't enjoy being on the phone and talking to strangers. Maybe it's certain emails that you need to answer. Do know here within Boss Up as well as Stormy that you're going through a time where the only way how you can overcome it is by facing it and doing it and getting it done with. And I'm talking about things here that don't take a lot of time, just little things that you put off, that you procrastinate, but start to weigh heavily the more the number of those things increases. Next up, we've got rehabilitation for you. So within rehabilitation, do know here that the more you kind of practice facing these fears and these uncomfortable positions, the more you will find that you're beginning to cure this quote unquote irrational fear. I mean, not all fears are irrational, but sometimes certain fears are definitely hyped up a little more than they need to be. And remind yourself here that no matter how much you are afraid of a situation or how much something stresses you out, there is always a way. There is always a way to kind of go at it step by step or bite by bite, all of my beautiful Sagittarius babies. So don't put all of this immense pressure on yourself. It's not necessary. Next up, we've we've got the Justice card. So within Justice, you are being called to find balance. That's something that you need to hear, my beautiful Sagittarius babies, and to ensure that you're not either doing too much work or too many fun things. And the King of Wands shows me someone, well, a snack, as you can see here, who's coming towards you. And an important thing for you to hear is that you will meet them through friends, you will meet them through mutual connections, and they're going to bring a type of calm to you, even though they are the king of fire signs. So they're either a Leo, a fellow Sagittarian, or an Aries. They still have this really mature, chill air about them. And this may turn into a very interesting kind of relationship or situationship. So make sure that you tune into future love readings to figure out more about the situation. So all my beautiful Sagittarius babies, this is the reading that I received for you. I truly hope that you enjoyed it and that you found it insightful. Thank you so much for being here and for spending this divine time and space with me. And I can't wait to speak to you during one of my upcoming readings. Hello, all my beautiful Capricorns, and welcome to the second, even more intricate part of your prediction, where we talk all things Capricorn when it comes to what you need to hear right now. So we've got the King of Swords, we've got Justice, as well as the Ten of Wands. Whew, so the universe is starting off strong with you, my beautiful Capricorn babies. So I see that the universe is speaking to you very clearly, as we've got here within the King of Swords. This is no joke type of communication. So if you prefer readers that are a little bit more, that cover up some of the messages, then this reading is not going to be for you. Don't say I didn't warn you. So let's move on to the messages that are here for you. I see in the Justice card that when it comes to what you need to hear right now, you need balance. There is no excuse for it. I see here within Justice that you have to be diplomatic about how much time you spend working and how much time you spend having fun. As the Ten of Wands shows us here, that you run risk of burning out. You run risk of running into serious issues if you don't find a reasonable way to not only have your work-life balance be in a healthy spot, but also make sure that you can take care of yourself on like a daily basis and have a friend circle, have a social life. I know it's a lot, my beautiful Capricorn babies, but it's important that you find a way to manage. Within stormy, I can see that what you need to hear right now is that even through really stormy times and seasons, there's always a way to get through to the other side. The sun will always shine again eventually. Some storms are longer than others, but bear in mind here that it can't be stormy forever. Boss Up shows us that one thing you need to hear is to take charge of your schedule and your itinerary. No more people just booking slots into your schedule whenever it pleases them. No more taking on extra projects that you know you actually don't have the time for, my beautiful Capricorn babies. I see here with an upside down that you have to completely change how you're dealing with your schedule and how you are utilizing your time, because right now it's not serving you to the degree that it really should. You need a different plan. You need a different way of managing your things, your life. So do know here with an upside down as well as Boss Up that the first thing that you can do is just completely take charge of ensuring that nobody gets to just put tasks on your desk or on your table, maybe quite literally at work, that you know you don't have time to do. This is about collaboration. That's what we've got here within the Three of Pentacles. No more are you going to spend time just diligently doing work, being ambitious and disciplined and efficient and doing everything for everybody. No. All the people around you can roll up their sleeves as well, my beautiful Capricorn babies. They are more than capable of that and help you in your pursuit to getting projects done before deadlines and ensuring that everything that needs to be sent off gets sent off. Next up, we've got the Empress. Now, the Empress is a card of motherhood, of abundance and fertility, but also beauty. And one thing that you need to hear is that you're actually way cuter than you give yourself credit for, my beautiful Capricorn babies, that you can lean back and kind of enjoy attention from admirers a lot more often than you actually do, and to do it now, because as you know, society loves youth. So the older you get, the less you will feel like that sense of being adored or being looked at in a way that, you know, is just lets you know that you've still got it. And not to say that you should place your worth or your value in that, but sometimes it's cute to just feel wanted. Sometimes it's nice to just look around and realize, hey, there are some people who are attracted to me, whether that be physically or mentally. I see here within the Eight of Cups that there is a situation that you're checking out of. And one thing that you need to hear about this is that it is completely okay for you to do so. In connectivity to the Three of Pentacles, I do assume that it is a group at work that's just not vibing with you anymore. And I see here within the Strength card that rather than fighting back bullies, or rather than trying to get on that same level and stoop to their same spot, you are just walking away from situations that you can tell are not classy and are just going to result in hurt feelings for everybody. Now, the Three of Wands shows me here that while leaving that behind, you know better lies ahead. You know you've got so much space to conquer, and you're completely okay with leaving these two other wands behind and just taking this wand right here. And see this as a symbol as to how many people you take with you on your journey too. It's okay to leave some people in the back or in the past and only move forth with someone who you know is reliable and you know really has got your back, all of my beautiful Capricorns. There's nothing to be ashamed of when it comes to that. And I see that you need to hear some words of encouragement and empowerment when it comes to these types of things. Now, the Knight of Wands shows us that you've got a lot of ambition and also a lot of drive to get to that next level when it comes to your career, which is really awesome to see. I also see here within the Judgment card for you that you're very hard on your ideas, but in a way that's also what makes them so fantastic, because if you weren't so hard on your art, your ideas, and your work, you wouldn't have been able to get as far as you're at today. Now we've got the Ace of Cups as well as the High Priestess too. So in the Ace of Cups, there is a potential new romantic relationship that's trickling into your life. And within the High Priestess, I see that this is someone who is from a similar community that you're from. So you may have met them through, for example, a workout community, through work itself, through a hobby that you're really enthusiastic about. So do know here within the High Priestess that there is this kind of potential for this relationship to blossom into something really amazing, but also to just sit back and allow for them to pursue you. That's something that I see you need to hear, that being the person who is pursuing right now, that is not serving you, that doesn't suit you. Leaning back and being pursued, that's what you should be doing right now, my beautiful Capricorn babies. So this is part 2 of your prediction. I hope that you enjoyed it and that you found it insightful. Let me know below in the comment section by leaving a little bubble tea emoji down there so me and others can know that you are a Capricorn baby. Don't forget to get those free PDFs from bowlife.com, of course, as well as my tarot and oracle decks and gratitude journals. Thank you so much for spending this divine time and space with me, and I'll speak to you during one of my upcoming predictions. Hello, all my beautiful Aquarius babies, and welcome to your prediction about everything that you need to hear right now. So we'll talk all things Aquarius. Let's get into it, shall we? We've got the Two of Pentacles, we've got the Ace of Cups, as well as the King of Pentacles. So I see here that in order to reach your highest potential when it comes to your career and your professional life, you will have to be very flexible when it comes to balancing different tasks and also your emotions towards those tasks. I can see here within the Ace of Cups that you may be working with someone who kind of makes you feel a little bit anxious. That doesn't have to mean in a bad way. Maybe there's like a little crush around you, and what you need to hear is to ensure that you put your focus on your career first, and that you remind yourself that there can be balance between work and love and life. You don't have to be completely infatuated for one moment and then ignore the person for the next and only focus on work. You can find a sense of balance in being flexible. I see here within the Five of Wands that on the inside, there's definitely a lot going on for my beautiful Aquarius babies. And one thing that you need to hear is that it's okay to reach out to other people about what you're going through. It's okay to talk about people and confide in them when it comes to situations that maybe stress you out or make you feel inadequate. Now, the Three of Swords, don't worry about this card. I know it looks a little morbid in these older decks. This is the Rider-Waite deck. Does show here that there is definitely a little bit of lack of luster when it comes to firing yourself up. I can see that you're a little bit disappointed in yourself more frequently than you really should be, and that's probably a result of being really hard on your accomplishments. Within the Temperance card reverse, I can see that you need to hear to let loose a little bit when it comes to these compliments, my Aquarius babies. Why are you holding back on yourself? Why aren't you giving yourself all the hyping up that you give to other people? Why aren't you being your own biggest cheerleader in the way that you know you are for the rest of the world? I see here within the Six of Swords that what you need to hear is to put an end and a stop to that. You need to go from a place of being super modest to a place of just being more confident in your abilities and your accomplishments and taking credit where credit is due. That doesn't make you a cocky person. No one's going to look at you any differently. That just shows that you're able to celebrate your own accomplishments. Next up, we've got the Angel of Miracles. One thing that you need to hear is to open your heart in order to expect miracles. As an Aquarius baby, sometimes being connected to your emotions isn't really the simplest thing for you. It can be challenging. So do know here within the Angel of Miracles that you're being encouraged to keep trying anyways, even if it's tough. And I see here within the Peacock that raising your standards is of importance right now, ensuring that you're not lowering your standards just in order to kind of fit into a mold or fit into a box that society has created for you. Make sure that you keep shining, that you just allow yourself to embrace who you are as a peacock would, so to say. And I also see here that one thing that you need to hear is that there are new beginnings that are coming towards you. And in order to seize those new opportunities and to begin this new life in a way that is going to be authentic in the long run, you have to start off authentic from the beginning, right, my beautiful Aquarius babies? So it is so imperative that you be yourself and that you keep those standards as high as you wish for them to be without feeling judged or letting judgment get to you. Now, the Four of Swords shows me here that you're definitely very hopeful for what's to come next. And one thing that you need to hear is that it's okay to pray and to meditate and to know here within the Five of Pentacles that sometimes, no matter how much effort that you put into things, you will still experience some challenges. But that's just a part of life that none of us can really get around. And I see here within the Hierophant, so the number 5 is important for you because we have the Five of Wands up here, we have the Five of Pentacles down here. Now the Hierophant corresponds to the number 5 as well. So I want you to know here within the Hierophant that we have a card of education and your belief system. So one thing that you need to hear is that a lot of life is simply about how you view it, not necessarily what's really happening. We've got the Five of Swords. Well, we've got all fives for you. So look out for this number as a synchronicity, my beautiful Aquarius babies. It is an important one. We also have the High Priestess and Judgment. So let's talk about the Five of Swords. Now, the Five of Swords shows me that there is some self-interest here, and that's okay. Just ensure that the self-interest is not putting you in a position where you're forgetting to see other people's point of view. So that is where I see within the Judgment card that you have to learn to kind of forgive people, even if they're dead wrong, my beautiful Aquarius babies. You have to forgive and move on. You can't rest in this notion of your self-interest and wanting an apology or wanting for someone to see how they did you wrong or how what they did wasn't okay, because you may end up waiting forever, and the only person who that is harming is yourself. So in the High Priestess, I see that through spiritual study, through figuring out who you truly are on a soul level, but also asking yourself a lot of very philosophical questions. You're able to come to some epiphanies and realizations of the fact that as human beings, there's a lot of pettiness, there's a lot of unnecessary things going on that we don't need to feed more of our energy into, and we can simply refrain from that if we're able to notice these things, if we're able to see these things, whether those are stressors such as in relationships, fighting over petty little things, whether that is a misunderstanding that you may have had with a person, or whether you've been wronged in the past. And of course, trauma is a real thing, but at the same time, you've only got one life. So do you choose to kind of try as much as you can to alleviate yourself from trauma, or do you fall into a kind of victim mode or victim mentality, right? You have a lot of choices that you can make here, and it's important for you to know that you've got all the power, no matter how difficult your childhood or your upbringing may have been, or what you may have experienced that really caused a rift at one point in your life. Everything can be brought back to a place of joy as well as ease. So all of my beautiful Aquarius babies, this is the reading that I received for you. I hope that you enjoyed it and that you found it insightful. Make sure that you leave a little crescent moon emoji below in the comment section to let me and others know that you made it all the way to the end and that you enjoyed your reading. I'd like to thank you for spending this magical time and space with me. Of course, don't forget to get those free PDFs on bowlife.com, and I'll speak to you during one of my upcoming predictions. Hello, all my beautiful Pisces babies, and welcome to the second super intricate part of your prediction where we talk all things Pisces in your pick a card tarot reading. So let's get straight into it so we can figure out everything that you need to hear, my beautiful Pisces. So first up, we've got the King of Swords. Stepping out of a space of people pleasing, that's what I see here in the King of Swords. Speaking your mind and speaking up. You are more intelligent than you give yourself credit for, and it is so important that you speak up with love, that you communicate clearly, whether that person that you're speaking to likes it or not. You must step into your truth. I see here within the Hermit that you're the type to be very reflective. You're an emotionally intelligent being, but the Hermit does also show me here that spending a lot of time in introspection and solitude can sometimes make it difficult for you to know exactly how to communicate once you're actually before other people. So this may manifest itself in some mild or severe social anxiety and just feeling really awkward in situations where you have to deal with other people and have small talk. You get the idea. Next up, within the Devil, what you need to hear is to not get in your own head about it. The Devil is all about feeling hopeless or feeling as though, well, you know, I'm just anxious, I can't help it, there's nothing I can do. Well, that's one way to look at it. And yes, there are definitely a lot of struggles that we go through that seem out of our control, but do know here within the Devil that sometimes we feel as though something is out of our control when really we can maybe help get ourselves in a headspace where we can navigate a difficult situation, no matter how challenging or daunting it may seem. Furthermore, another thing you have to hear within the Devil is to ensure that you keep your priorities in a place where they feel authentic, especially when it comes to materialism. Now, the Knight of Coins here shows me that you're on track to creating a financially safe and sound, secure future, which is most likely also why the Devil showed up, because your guides and angels, they want you to stay on track. They don't want you to fall victim to consumerism in a way that's going to keep you bound for a long time, financially speaking. We've also got the Judgment card. Now, the Judgment card, in case you didn't know, is a major arcana card, which corresponds to Pluto. And Judgment is all about forgiveness. Judgment is all about being okay with the fact that you have maybe made mistakes in the past, but now it's time to move on. Now it's time to forgive yourself. Now it's time to step into your highest potential and be that person that you know you can be. And with Pluto being connected to Judgment, I want you to know that we've got some transformation, some sort of rebirth that you're going through. And I see that what you need to hear is that decluttering is an essential part of it. So get rid of stuff that you don't need, whether that be physical items, whether that be people who you've been hanging on to who are really not very healthy for you, my beautiful Pisces. It's time for you to get rid of any dead weight that you've been carrying around with you, because honestly, decluttering is one of the most liberating, freeing things that you could possibly do for yourself. Next up, we've got Stormy, as well as becoming nobody. The more you declutter, the more you'll also have a kind of fresh and blank slate upon which you can paint a fresh canvas upon which you can work with. And I do see here that it will be hard to get rid of certain things, and maybe you've got some emotional attachments to items, and what I recommend doing is potentially taking photos of those items, storing those on a hard drive or in a file, in a folder on your computer, and keeping those photos, because often we have things that we're never really going to use, like physical objects, and just having a photo and having it neatly stored away is a great way for you to be able to declutter the physical item, but still somehow have a remembrance of it, right? You can still go and look at what it once was without having to actually store it or keep it rent-free in your living space. Next up, we've got the Four of Wands. So one thing that you need to hear is that the right person will stick by your side through ups and downs. And I see here within Stormy that you were left really traumatized and hurt when going through some hard times in relationships and being left, or the relationship falling apart. But remind yourself here that the right person isn't going to leave because of a tough time. The right person is going to stick by your side. Within the Magician, I can see here that we've got this feeling of initiation, of action. And I want you to know here that you're being called to focus your concentration and your power on your own personal development, to not give any focus or space and time to what may have been done to you, because right now that energy, space, focus, and time is better spent on you, as there's a lot that's going on. A lot of restructuring going on within your life is one thing that I can see within the Tower. Now, the Tower is actually a card of release, of a revelation, and sudden change. So there will be big sudden changes that you need to know of and hear of, my beautiful Pisces. But I see that you've got it all under control, and there's nothing to worry about, even though the Tower can sometimes indicate a little bit of a challenging time. So we've got go with the flow as well as letting go. We did speak about letting go and that being okay, not feeling any shame or obligation, and remind yourself here to just let things happen. There's no point in holding on to any connection with someone where you have to put in so much work just to get a little bit of attention or just to keep them around for a little longer. Let them go, my beautiful Pisces babies. You don't need this within your life. There are plenty of people who would love to be around your energy, who would love to be a part of your life, who would absolutely feel honored to have you within their space. So seek out people and areas where you're loved, not where you're tolerated or just accepted. Really surround yourself with people and jobs and energetic frequencies that care about you and love you. That's one of the main messages that you needed to hear. So all of my beautiful Pisces babies, this is the reading that I received for you, and I hope that you enjoyed it and that you found this insightful and that you found it fun to be able to put together your very own personal tarot card reading. So make sure that you leave a little star emoji below in the comment section to let me and others know that you were here, that you received your two-part prediction to represent the Pisces fam, and know that I'm sending you so much love wherever you are in this world, whatever time of day it is. I can't wait to speak to you during one of my upcoming readings.